devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand. Call
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We have an exciting show this evening. Whoever accused me of falling asleep and forgetting to start my stream at 10 p.m. Eastern, you're crazy. That absolutely did not happen. I wasn't just chilling, laid back in a comfy flannel and just completely passed out and forgot about all of y'all. So that definitely didn't happen. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We do have a fun time ahead of us. We are going to do a part 2 to what tools do you need? And not only tools, right? Not only tools and gear. What do you need in the beginning stages for somebody starting out, or even for y'all pros out there? What do you need to be prepared to fight off tyranny? So that's what we're discussing. And we got a guest as well. Yes, a guest that I left waiting for an hour. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Well, let's go ahead and greet all of our channel members. We got ADXR920, who was first this evening. ADXR920, my guy, congratulations. You were first, and you're due at least a firm handshake, if not a high five. Congratulations, my guy. You'll also see that ADXR920 is also a channel member. You'll also see that your boy, DLD, joined the XR920 fan club right there. Yes, in all of its beauty, the XR920C. It's not the elite, I know, but hey, it's dope. And I'm excited. That may be my new EDCC, my everyday church carry. Although I'm not there every day anyway, but you know what I'm saying. So ADXR920, my guy, also a channel member. I appreciate you. Kurt24 with his fell asleep stuff. Come on, not me. Y'all know me. Kurt24, also a channel member. My guy, great to see you. Let's see what other channel members we got. Hey, Madam Man Against the Masses. What's up, brother? Yo, he said Gerchop, Gerchop, Gerchop. And guess what happened? My guy showed up. See how this works? You say his name 3 times, he will always just appear. He's just out there watching. Got a cheese, also a Chenamemba, still printing in 1911. I may have a little something printing right now too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, also a Chenamemba. We got Z. Govern me harder, baby. I giggled when I saw that. So thank you for that. Also a Chenamemba. Appreciate you. Blue Curtain Burner. What's up, brother? Also a Chenamemba, my guy. Key ASC. What's up, fam? Another Chenamemba. Man, I appreciate you guys so much, man. See Kurt 24. We got Z. Barton Fink. What's up, brother? Who was 20th this evening. Appreciate you, my guy. Thanks for coming in and hanging out. Z. Flying Rich. Also a Chenamemba. What's up, brother? Thanks for coming in and hanging out as well. Let's see. Crack Scout Survival. Still waiting on my order of Darkest. Oh, yeah. You know what? You may be joking, talking about something different, but I had over 2 weeks ago now, some people order some stuff, and the merch company isn't syncing or fulfilling orders. So I think what happened to those that initially placed some orders, the only thing I can narrow it down to is that they're not fulfilling orders, either one because of the image, because they sent me the what do you call it, like the samples, right? And I mean I bought them, um, and they're not fulfilling the order. It's like totally grayed out. Can't even click it. Can't select it. So I can click it to stop fulfillment, and then I restart fulfillment, and it's grayed out, and it says will not fulfill. So I don't know if it's the image, or I don't know if it's because it's on a website that sells farm related products. So I'm probably gonna have to, like, in the next day or so, cancel everything out, send, if money was taken, because I didn't log in and look in there. If money was taken, then I'll send all that back, and then I'll have to open up a completely new store for you guys to order from. So give me a little bit, guys. You guys have already been super patient for more than 2 weeks, and I appreciate you guys more than you may know. So thank you. Kurt 24. Let's see who else is up in here. ADXR 920. How was your nap? It was good. I've been having some crazy dreams though, like Tupac, afraid to sleep. I'm having crazy dreams, you know. Crack Scout Survival, ADXR 920, Flying Rich. Hey, Agorizer, what's up, brother? Oh, hello, Crowd Raiser. Also, Chenamemba. We got Goon Beam in the building. If you are not rocking the Goon Beam, and I know I hold up my Goon Beam, or one of my Goon Beams, in every single video that I do, because I believe in them. And you know what? Goon Beam, because some others may not believe in, I know you've been doing very well. A lot of people buying the flashlights, but let's be real. I think I'm going to have to do like a crazy, crazy torture test on these flashlights just to show them how serious, like, this is serious equipment here. Okay. Like, look, still works. I know that was my torture test. No, but all jokes aside, I may have to do like a serious torture test here and show them what Goon Beam is all about. Now, if you already know what Goon Beam is all about, and you are, quote, about that life, end quote, then you can go to the description in this video and in every single video that I have, and there's a link that you can click to select the most fiery flashlights in the business. And you can use code DARK and save some monies as well. Just showing some love. Mike McClune, what's up, brother? Mike McClune, the loon, the goon. Great to see you. Appreciate you. Also, Chenamemba, Agorizer, Kurt 24, Barton Fink. I miss CRS also. I know. It's crazy, man. I cannot believe. Now, there may be some developments. I can't talk about it or anything yet. So we'll see. We shall see. Senor Boob, what's up, brother? Also a Chenamemba. Taco Send a Kit. Great to see you. Also a Chenamemba. Agorizer, got a cheese. DLD out here starting the stream, picking granola. Yeah, a little bit, you know. Code 24, Johnny Propane. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a little sleepy. All right, so just bear with me. But you know, I will always excuse me, I will always take the opportunity to talk about freedom and freedom items as well. I love that. Bob, Kurt, hey, Gort, great to see you. Also a channel member, I appreciate you. Let's see, Bob, Kurt, Agarizer, Gort. All right, now let's do the quick honorable mentions. We got the Bear Jew. I'm sorry, Bear Jaw. Great to see you, Bear Jaw. Appreciate you coming in as well. Jen Champ, what's up, fam? Great to see you. What's up, Home Slices? Appreciate you coming in as well. Andy Lipsco, who is unhidden. By the way, the day that you sent me that email, I guess it's technically an email on DLD hardware, I like immediately found you and unhid you, but you weren't in there the first like 5 times I checked. So yeah, but you are unhid, you are back. It was an accident. No one hid him on purpose. We don't ban people here, unlike other scout survivals. Um, James Kawasaki, what's up, brother? Great to see you. Appreciate you coming and hanging out as well. We got Douglas Bing as well. I know, I miss watching CRS too. I know it. I do get a chance to email with him every now and then, and that's a blessing. But man, crazy times. JC9, what's up, brother? Appreciate you coming in as well. Dark was taking nap. MVE Warlords will rule Wasteland. Yes, this is true. M. Gabriel, what's up, brother? Great to see you. Also, one of the homies. Andy Lipsco, let's see. GC9. Freedom Seeds for All. That's a beautiful thing. Fire Otter, what's up, brother? My guy. Lightning Scott, what up? What up? Lightning McQueen. Douglas Boing. And Senor Gerchup. Great to see you and everyone else. If I missed you, my bad. Sound off in chat. I'll make sure to say what's up. So basically, hey, Putang, you know what? I was gonna wait a minute so I can actually do a post, but I actually just posted something on Instagram. So you gotta even that shit. You can't post too much. You know what I'm saying? But today in the mail, I get a ding dong at the door, and I go and I open up the door, and they're dropping off a big old Gideon Optics Johnson's popcorn for Christmas. Gideon Optics sent me a Christmas gift. Can you believe that? I was blown away. So Putang, Jordan, all the guys and gals that work over at JSD, Gideon Optics, all those guys, man, I appreciate you. And also, when we're talking about extremely based equipment, you can also go in the same description, the aforementioned description, and YouTube, brother. You can also go in the aforementioned description and you can click on the Gideon Optics link. And guess what? Did you know that if you use code DARK and with that link and code DARK, did you know that you get 10% off and free shipping and you support the channel? What? I know, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff. It's super advanced over here. Why is it doing this? StreamYard is tripping. I'm about to go over to Streamlabs, man, because this is crazy. But anyway, so we started the conversation based on this, based on essentially what type of things, and it doesn't necessarily need to be physical things, what type of equipment, gear, tools, firearms, what kind of mindset, like what kind of things do you need uh, to be able to you know get squared away to fight off tyranny. Okay. Now, it could also just be an armed group of assailants. It could also be someone invading. It could be, a local disaster. It could be anything. Oh, hold on. Sorry. I got to take this. Hello? You can't call like this. I'm doing a live stream. I'm doing a live stream. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Sorry, guys. That was my roofer. He's so lazy. Sorry. Anyway, making sure that you are as squared away as possible with gear, equipment, firearms, tools, training, and all that stuff. And what better than to do it with someone who equips people with this type of equipment? So for part two of this conversation, and we're talking about doing so at a low threshold, right? So for those guys out there that have been doing this for years and years, right? You can start to build other loadouts at an economical pace too. So this isn't for noobs, this isn't for vets, this is for everyone in between as well. So let's go ahead and get it started, and we're going to do so by bringing in my guy Jonah of I'm just kidding, Jonah of Big Mac Defense.
What's going on?
What's up, brother? Great to see you.
Should we do it? We doing beanies tonight? Is this a thing?
It's a thing for me. If you guys notice, that looks great, by the way. If you notice, every time from like November to February, I always switch over to a beanie. And people are like, oh, dark, like cool Tim Pool outfit. I'm like, no, it's my thing. It's what I do. Because guess what? In Virginia, from like November to February, this bitch gets cold. So that's what I'm rocking. Hey, T for Tejas, what's up, bro? Roofers are too high on meth to be lazy. Not actual roofers, just lazy roofers. Gertchow, great to see you, man. Mr. Big Mac, sir, it's important that you say hello to Gertchow too.
Hello, Gerchop.
It's a thing. I do have some other great news that I'll let you guys know before we get into it. We're going to jump into Jonah, what he's about, if he's truly about that life. We'll go on record with that. And also we'll talk about his company, and he his job is to equip people with some of this freedom equipment that we're talking about. But also, I have a guest, one of the most requested guests coming back on the show, and you guys made it happen. Originally, you guys made it happen. Mr. Clint from Classic Firearms not only agreed to come back on the show, he wanted to come back on the show. He said he had such a great time. He was like, yeah, I had a blast. It was awesome. Would love to come back on with you. So you guys originally made this happen. I don't know if y'all remember going over to his live stream and, saying, oh, you should go on DLD After Dark. And then I went over, super chatted him, and then boom, there you go. So, yeah, so just want to let y'all know. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Jonah with Big Mac Defense. Let everyone know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
Yeah, I'm just a lowly IT guy who enjoys guns and suppressors and night vision and things that go boom in my free time. So I made a business of it.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. What got you into night vision originally?
A person.
Yeah,
No, I had met some people that were into it, and I just caught the bug,
yeah.
and that was it, man.
I got to be honest, I'm there. And once excuse me, once anyone out there, once you go out, if you got a buddy with night vision, a friend with night vision, or if you take out a small unit that's coming to arrest you, take a tube and take a moment on a clear night to look up at the sky, and there will be no other reason for you to get night vision other than that. Now, in addition to that, it also gives you a superpower of seeing bad guys at night. But also, it's easy to get in your what would you call it, like the nods, the nods box, where you don't even realize that you're like walking in like well lit areas.
Yeah, everything's night vision.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like I'm invisible. Like
it's a
no.
dangerous game, man.
Yeah, you just got to be aware. That's all. But yeah, so
Yeah,
let's
someone
start
said
out.
we need a PVS 14 shame you until you buy one.
I know everyone does. There's like a small group, probably like a dozen people that are like all about nods, right? And those dudes are the ones that are constantly like sending me messages like, "Did you get it yet? Did you get it yet? Did you get it
Need
yet?"
some F's in the chat for DLD's lack of night vision.
I know. People are like literally like, "Hey, this happened in this country. Did you see this? You need nods. Did this happen over here? Did you see this? Did you see the?"
Everything is an excuse for night
I
vision.
know. They're like, "The supply chain dried up over here in this state. Did you get nods yet?" I'm like, dude, no, not yet. But I do. I feel like they're not necessarily a requirement, but they're very important. Like it's not super high on the list, but when I look at me having like almost 40 Glocks and not night vision, it's pretty foolish in that sense. Like, I could easily, flip some stuff and
For
cover
about
that
the price
cost.
of like 6 to 8 Glocks, you could get into a really good set of night vision.
Well, I already know which tube I want. That's for sure. Night farming, night farming. They are a must. I would say
Also,
that's probably
I
true.
found out some pretty serious news. It hasn't been dropped anywhere. It hasn't been dropped on John Crump or nowhere.
You have the
So
casting couch behind you.
It took you long enough to notice.
I just realized that.
We turned something
Jeez.
slowing down my computer here.
That I honestly think it's hilarious
I
because
have it as a Zoom background, so if I'm on the right Zoom call, I'll drop that on there.
oh my god.
Um, so what's it? Am I a fan of white Foss? Yes, that's the only tubes I use. I won't
Yeah,
touch green Foss.
that's the only fuss.
So Goonbeam recently tried to conduct some business with him, and I learned something. I hope it is still in the chat. Goonbeam's not a real person. Goonbeam is
Yeah,
advanced AI. Because I was
yep,
wondering why I never saw his face. He
yep,
is an AI algorithm that was written to watch other firearms companies.
and
And
build flashlights.
it it built all of this what do people want in a product,
Mhm,
and it decided to go with a flashlight line. The website was designed by AI. The
yep.
communication, the shipping, it's all AI. Goonbeam's
It
not a real person.
yeah, it's facts. They
He's a
literally
small server farm. It's probably some
yep.
500-pound guy in his mom's basement with a couple powerful computers, and
And
that's
then they
it.
just hire people on Fiverr to do the shipping, you know?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's all AI shipping. It's all through Pirate Ship. There's a
yeah,
you have your what's it called? Your API. It APIs
mhm,
through Pirate Ship. It labels everything. It
yeah.
figured out how to make flashlights. It's insane. That's
That's
why
why
has anyone seen his face?
I haven't seen his face. I've
No.
actually invited him to come on the show like 100 times now, so he
And you just
must
got a
not be
generic
real.
response, didn't you?
Yeah, hello, thank you for your request. It's like, oh man, that's bad. That's actually great. You know what? That's probably very believable. So,
Me and him were joking about this the other day, and then I was like, that's not like we're not far off from that.
yeah,
If you
right.
set up the right algorithm, you could set up like an AI, like machine learning to figure out what people want and how to do it and how to build websites based off of other industry websites. It's not crazy.
You know that's probably so for everyone out there, we are joking, but I do believe that we're pretty close to that. And there's something came up with AI recently. Remind me to hit on that in 1 second. Me and Rich were talking about it. Corn Pop, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Also, Chinamemba. He says, I'm running RP, BPNVD, Pano Bridged Bino Night Vision with L3 Gen 3 White Foss tubes with a Jerry C clip on thermal for full Gucci fusion.
RPBPNVD. Do you mean RPNVGs, ruggedized panoramic night vision goggles by AB Night Vision? It's the housing.
There's
So
just something
panel
wrong
bridged
here.
means that you could have two PVS 14s
Mhm.
slightly at a slight outward angle, and it gives you a panoramic view.
Nice. Even just a PVS 14 with an Ikadi or Jerry C is game changing. Fusion setups are where it's at.
And for
Yeah,
those who don't know, what he's talking about is you could have a PVS 14, so you have your incoming light and you see night vision. There's a clip-on unit that goes in front of your night vision and projects a little display, and it gives you thermal overlay on top of your
yeah.
night vision. So you
If you,
could look at an image, you could see someone make out their face and their details. They will also be outlined. I think it's like a bright white outline, and it stands out against the background. So you have thermal on top of your night vision.
I've also seen where it almost looks like their like skeleton is like orange. Are there different
That's
like
also thermal. I think that's the E-Cody that does that.
okay, yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy. Pretty Jonah programmed me to take down the big flashlight conglomerate. That's great.
It's learning.
Yeah, it's learning. That's great. Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy. Hey, Detective John Kimball, what's up, broski? So yeah, so okay, so you've been doing this for a while now. You have a pretty successful company. You've helped me build several things, even if it's just like a handguard or whatever. So I figured it'd be great to have you on to kind of talk about some of this stuff because I realized that some of the questions that I was getting, when you have like one loadout and then you start to kind of build out your stuff and collect more things, then it's like, well, then I should build other loadouts too. And sometimes you don't need to go super Gucci, right? You can go kind of, just kind of, maybe broaching the surface of mid tier to have some kind of like throwaway stuff. But we kind of started off of like, what's Gucci, and then also what's like, barely passable. And basically we came to the agreement that, like, most of the guys out there, if they're like beginning, they're not going to be building uppers. They're not going to have like the torque wrench and the vise and like everything they need to set stuff up. So, one of the cheaper ways for these guys to get started, because I was realizing I was getting questions of what's the like lowest, like could I get into a functional AR for like $400? And I mean the answer is yes, but it may not necessarily be the one that the rifle you're going to die with.
Yeah.
um, so it's possible, but then also considering other things like just getting a shotgun, right? Like just grabbing an inexpensive, like even you can find 870s. Um, Gerchop, this is a good question, and there's auto gating technology that basically leaves you completely unaffected if it's Gen 3.
Yeah, and some people have this misconception that if you get a light, you're going to go blind. Well, no. If you think about what you're doing, you're just staring at a screen. It's no different than if you're upstairs watching TV and there's like a flashbang that goes off in the show you're watching. You're not going to go blind. You're just staring at a white light on a screen.
Yeah,
And the tube will auto gate, which means the power supply will cut power to the tube.
you can
There's
even hear
also
it.
auto brightness, and it does some other things.
Yeah, you can even literally hear it when you shine a flashlight at it. You can hear the unit working. It's
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
there's a little whine from the power supply restricting power. There's more science behind it, but
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty insane.
yeah.
But Gerchop, glad to see you here. Yeah, let me see. I'm just
Corn
reading the chat.
pops.
No, it's not a
Yeah,
Panaverse set of PVS
yeah, that's what I was saying
14s.
before. It's the RPN-VGs, the ruggedized panoramic night vision goggles by AB.
AB Night Vision. The
Yeah.
housings themselves have a built-in
Yeah, I was saying
camera.
you could also go panoramic with two PVS 14s. AB is one of the companies that makes built-in panoramic.
AutoGate won't save your tubes if you are okay. So this is also
Correct.
true. People aren't aware of the damage that could occur to nods from, there was a great video on it on Dirty Civilian about, dudes walking around in the daytime, putting their nods up facing the sun for hours and hours and hours
Accidentally
with,
leaving them on.
yep. And even, get this, even completely powered down with no batteries in it, there was still tube damage.
That's debated.
It's debated a lot, but I was going to send you the video. They literally just did a bunch of tests. They essentially destroyed two PVS 14s. And one of them, most of the spots that they did from like flashlights and fire and headlights were, they black boxed it and fixed it, right?
Yeah. And
Uh,
they're surprisingly rugged. I think I know the video you're talking about.
yeah. And let them know what black boxing is, and then we'll get into the whole gun thing.
So you basically have a bunch of little light fibers in there, and when they're exposed to great amount of light, it could damage how it's amplifying the light. So you can get essentially like, if you leave an item on an old CRT monitor too long, it burns in an image, kind of like that.
Yeah.
The solution for that is you take a black dark box. When you shut it, there is no light coming into that box. And you power on the PVS 14 and you leave it in the box for 24 hours. The battery might die, whatever. Just leave it on.
Yeah.
That active black boxing can remove some non-permanent spots, but certain things like laser strikes, you put a laser into a night vision tube, just like putting a laser into a camera, you can burn the mechanism that is amplifying the light. And sometimes you cannot recover from black boxing. It's kind of a shot in the dark.
Yeah. Huh, doo-doo-ts. Yeah, it seemed like it depended on the amount of time for the exposure. Like they left them pointed at the sun for like 2 full hours, and it burnt. Like you could see the trail of the sun, powered off, no batteries. It was intense.
Mm.
And
I run camera lens caps on mine. So if
yeah,
I'm going to be using it at night, I'll pull them off, throw them in my pocket. But if it's
mhm.
staying on my head, which usually I'm not wearing my night vision, not using it, those camera lens caps are on there. There's zero light entering that unit.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best thing to do. Yeah, they were talking about going to like these events where you're doing like milsim and stuff like that. I forgot what the place is called, but they rent nods, right? For dudes that don't have them, and dudes were coming back like, "Yo, they were stored safely, like the batteries weren't even in them, and they got sun damage." And the dudes were like, "Yeah, right. It's no way. It's impossible." But they did the test. It's pretty. It was enlightening. I thought it was kind of funny, but
Here, let me see if I can do something for those who've never looked through night vision. Hold on.
yeah, go ahead. Too many choices. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Appreciate you being here as well. Let's see. Okay, digital thermal. Okay. Let's see. Pulses on for 2 seconds, off for 2 seconds. Help save the tube. Let's see. Very careful with how bright a setting I have my JC on, as you can burn the display from JC or ECADI into your tube. That's why clip-on thermals have a breathing mode. Oh, gotcha. So does it do that itself with 2 seconds on, 2 seconds off? Because I've seen a bunch of videos where dudes are either like outlined, or like it looks like their like skeleton is kind of like a glowing orange over
Yeah,
the
that's
night
normal.
vision.
That's what your thermal overlay is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Let's see if this can work.
Milsims are the best. Great way to test gear. If you dude, I would really love to. I think it was called like Milsim West or something like that. I can't remember. But if you guys don't know, look, we always kind of make the joke about being a dirty civilian, right? And being a dirty civilian is a civilian that the government is least likely to want to engage with, because you're, oh, there you go.
That might not focus right. Let's see.
I see the casting couch.
Let me cut the
I'm just
gain
gonna-
real quick. There's a lot of light coming off my monitor.
Yeah.
Let me I don't know if that helped at all.
A little bit. It's a little more clear. What if you were to go on the link from your phone and then take it outside and point it up at the sky?
I'm just trying to get like most of the YouTube screen because it's a bright white background. I could join from my phone to do that.
I think that would be cool as hell. I don't know if dudes will be able to see it super clear. Like, you can see satellites, you can see like crazy stuff floating around. It kind of makes you like a little worried, like, holy shit, what is out there in the sky?
Let me get my phone real quick. I'll try it. I'll put myself on mute and stuff here.
I've never looked through more than a bad camera version. Milsims are the best. Big Mac Defense, will the COTI work on PVS 14s?
Yeah, a clip-on thermal will. Both the Jerry and the E-Cody and the E-Cody. You just have to get the right adapter for the lens.
Blurb is still a good conceptual view. Conceptual view. So if we can get, I'll have to bring him in from another unit, but if we can get him to come in from his phone and go outside and shine it up at the sky. Oh, he just came in. Okay, dope. I'll wait for you. Just, Jonah, give me a thumbs up when you're ready to come back in and shine it up at the sky. That'll be so dope. But yeah, so and then after we kind of finish up the night vision aspect of it, we'll get back into kind of the firearm aspect. And I noticed that a bunch of dudes were asking like questions, like I mentioned earlier, like, can I get into a usable rifle for $400, or what's the cheapest I can get into a loadout, and it may be a loadout that you want to keep at another location or something.
Okay, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So let's see. I can't really see much on my phone. How clear of an image are you getting there?
That's actually pretty clear, dude.
Yeah, and it's probably kind of auto darkening just from the focus of my phone.
Dude, it's focusing up. I can see that car coming down the street. I can see the woods. I can see the parking lot, those woods clearly.
So the woods back there, you're looking at about 100 yards, give or take.
Damn.
This is kind of what you're seeing without it. This is with it.
Damn. Yo, that's pretty sick, dude.
And to the human eye, it's a bluish color. My phone might be changing that a little bit. And you see there's a lot of lights out here. It's not destroying the tube. It's not blinding anything. You've got headlights. You've got street lights.
Yeah, basically, the only damage is going to come when you are looking at an intense source. Can you point it up? Is it a clear sky or is it cloudy?
Probably it's cloudy. It's been raining here, so I don't know if there's any
Oh yeah,
any stars out tonight.
yeah. You can't really
I
see
don't see
anything.
anything right now. Yeah, it's definitely cloudy. Normally, you could see stars through this that the human eye couldn't pick up.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you doing that. That's dope. Here, I'm gonna bring this back here. Yeah, that was fire. Yeah, see, it's a good demonstration, right? And point out that's what I was asking, but you could tell it was cloudy out there. That is really a superpower. Damn, it
It
is,
is.
dude.
And these are the lens caps I was talking about. So you just pop them on and
Somebody said
lenses.
something day noodles. What are day noodles?
Eyeballs.
No, they were talking about something that they put on their nods during the day. Maybe it was
Oh, there's day caps. So
okay.
actually, it's something I could point out here. I have on the front of this unit, I have something called an iris, like you'd have on a camera. Basically, it allows you to cut the amount of light coming into the unit. It's not a camera in the sense where if you put half your hand in front of a camera, you're going to cut your image. With
Mhm.
this, you're just cutting the amount of light, but it's still getting a full image. So doing this will reduce the amount of ambient light. So if you're in a brighter environment, like technically in the day, I could run my unit like this, and at night, if I want to let more light in, I could open up the iris.
So could you use that as a like a level of protection? Could you cover?
Oh, absolutely, it protects it, but you're still taking in light with that iris closed and that small pinhole open. So the
Oh,
best way
okay.
is to just
So it does have a pinhole in it.
yep. So now
Okay.
I have a cap on it. Nothing can happen.
DLD After Dark, can you ask Big Mac if he has ever converted old P&W 57s to use modern batteries?
Are those the
Like the old Gen 2s or no, not even that. Aren't those like the
okay, so not the yes, the Russian ones.
okay, I couldn't remember if they
There's a
were
slightly
Chinese or
different
Russian.
variant. It's not the PNW, it's the there's another green Foss variant, but yes, I actually have seen a set. I didn't do it myself, but it was converted to use a 9-volt battery. Yep,
Damn.
the old Soviet ones. They were actually, I think they were Gen 2s. I could be no, they might have been Gen 1s. Still usable though,
Yeah, I think
surprisingly.
there was a dude that came on the turkeys a while back that was holding up a tube, and then I was like, "Hold on, let me see that. Like, hold that up." And then the turkeys asked the same thing, and he held it up, and it was like a gin, like a 5 or something like that, PBS 5 or something.
Yeah. And just I
Like,
saw there were some questions. What SNR is the tube? That's the signal to noise ratio. So
mhm.
basically, as you turn up the gain on the unit, how much noise? The signal to noise of this unit is around 36. Fairly high.
Okay. Dang, we gotta
Um,
drop it like it's Scott up in here. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you coming in and hanging out too. If y'all have not checked out his channel, make sure you do. He's a hell of a dude. Hell yeah. So, okay, so the signal to noise ratio. What are some other specs that people should keep in mind when they're looking at night vision
so
and
your
shit
main
like that?
specs, people throw around FOM a lot, figure of merit. Basically, you get that number. It's going to be the center resolution. So, and the center resolution is done line pairs per millimeter. So they put this on a test unit and it's looking at a sheet of paper with lines. The higher the resolution, the more lines you're going to be able to make out. So if the unit could read generally like a good resolution is 72, that means that it'll see 72 line pairs per millimeter. So your FOM is your SNR, your signal to noise, multiplied by your resolution. FOM is just it's a good overall figure of how to kind of just loosely judge a tube. Some of the other important numbers, you have halo. So if you look at a light, you're going to get a halo effect off the light.
Yeah.
Optimally, you want the most minimal halo possible. So the lower the number on halo, the better. Generally, anything under 1.0 is good. And then you also have an EBI, equivalent background illumination. So basically, in a very dark environment, how much illumination you have in your tube from the background.
Mm, okay.
EBI is also affected by temperature. So
Really?
warmer, moister temperatures can negatively impact your EBI.
Moist.
Moist. Cody
uh,
will work on a PVS-7 with the right adapter, I believe.
oh wow, interesting. Dude Knowledge, what's up, bro? Hi, I'm here to listen to Jonah talk night vision. I'm his number one
Oh,
critique.
yes, he is.
I thought he was going to say number one fan, but so we're actually great to see you, by the way, Dude Knowledge. We were
Oh,
on the
dude,
phone
Knowledge
the
is
other
going to
day.
rip us a new one for talking about budget kit.
Oh, dude, yeah, I know he's going to. Yeah, so one of the
My
things we're
CAC.
talking about, yeah, and you can keep your cack. You can keep your cack in your pants, all
Yeah,
right?
yeah, keep it in your pants.
Basically, hey, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal. Whoa, hold up. Fluffy Bunny Arsenal, why'd you change your picture, bro? Okay, that's a cool picture.
It is
All
a
right,
cool picture.
okay. Yeah,
Someone
we'll
asked
let
what's
that one.
filmed or unfilmed mean.
DB
When they
Cooper,
made
what up?
night vision, they realized that it died really quick. All the light coming in would destroy the tube. They found that
Mhm.
if they put a thick aluminum oxide layer over the tube, it cut down on light transmission, but it's like severely improved the life of the tube, or greatly improved, is what I should have said.
Oh, wow.
As time went on, they figured out how to make that aluminum oxide layer or film thinner and thinner. So now you have thin film tubes. L3 figured out a way to go unfilmed. I don't think it's unfilmed. They found another material to use instead of the aluminum oxide, which allows more light, but still prolongs the life of the tube. So that's what you're going to hear is unfilmed.
Mm.
It's more
And
prone to
if
things like streaking when you look at bright lights, but generally unfilmed is more desirable.
Gotcha. And if anyone out there is concerned about the aluminum film, don't worry. You are getting more than enough aluminum from your deodorant, your water, all that stuff. Don't worry about that. Joe Morris, what's up, brother? Great to see you. And Corn Pop as well. I mentioned his dad. I wasn't going to ask publicly, but I was curious to see how he's doing. I know he had a lot going on, and I hope you guys are okay. I hope your father's okay. And if you need something from us, bro, just ask, man. Um, okay, so getting kind of to the beginning of this, one of the things that we had brought up last time was that essentially most dudes start when they're either starting a loadout or starting from the beginning with it, whether it's a new loadout or if it's like their first loadout. Usually, dudes go to the gun shop and they get a handgun. They don't always get a handgun that is like fieldable, right? Like, some dudes go and get a Keltec or a Sky or a High Point or something like that, and that's okay if that's like your gateway into the firearm community. But when you're starting out, if you're starting out with a handgun, in my opinion, you should pick something that is something that has prolific magazines, something that is going to be like a 9mm double stack Glock, for an example. I can't think of anything else that is as prolific as a 9mm double stack Glock, but there are some other handguns to consider. What are some handguns that come to mind for you?
HK is another good one. If we're talking, I'd say let's call it sub $800, sub $700 handguns.
Hmm.
Because I think that's pretty affordable. HK, the VP9, the P30, those are two guns that they're affordable, but if you had to pick them up and run with them, I'd take it into battle, hands down.
The other one is a 320, but I'll be honest, even though those are fielded, like right now, those are fielded in some law enforcement and military capacity, I would not want one of those pointed at my cack and balls.
I am not AWB carrying a 320.
Yeah, no, I
So I
literally
guess
have one in the safe, and I'm not going to be rocking that thing.
let's get more basic. The three biggest platforms are going to be your Glock,
Hmm.
your SIG, which a lot of their guns share mags, and the
Hmm.
Smith & Wesson M&P series, also
Yeah,
very prolific.
yeah,
The M&Ps have really proved themselves, and it's funny. I don't hate them. I just don't feel a need to own them, but they're great guns. They're really
yeah.
good guns.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, something like the Beretta, right? That's one thing that I do like about the Beretta, and Red Dawn Ready nailed it. I think if you stick to Glock, M&P, and SIG, it's a smart move, or to have all three is a smart move. I think that they're like the Beretta, for an example. They did a really good job because with the Beretta, if you have an old 92 FS from the 70s and 80s, that will take the same magazines that your M9A4 will, like, and everything in between it, whether it's a 92 FS, M9A1, M9A3, M9A4. Now, the magazines have changed, right? They've gone from 15 rounds to 17 rounds to 18 rounds, but they all work in every single platform. So that's super helpful. A lot of companies when they produce shit like CZ came out with the original Scorpion, right? Then later on they came out with this new version that takes a completely different proprietary magazine. It's like, why would you even consider doing something like that? Like who sat at that table and was like, I think this is a good idea. You know, this thing we've established over the last like 8 years,
Yeah.
this thing that works.
I
Yeah,
mean, look, we can all agree Beretta sucks. No one likes Beretta.
I mean, you know, it's not
I'm kidding.
my
I'm kidding.
go-to, but it's my
No.
secondary go-to.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think basic handgun setup, your top three, Glock, SIG, and Smith and Wesson. I think if you want to get into not obscure but not as popular, you might not walk into your local gun store and find a holster for it. Your CZ and your HK, both super reliable, inexpensive platforms. They work great. I mean, CZ is one of the most cloned handguns of all time, unless I'm wrong. I think it was cloned. It was one of the most cloned guns for a while. I don't know if that's been overtaken by like the AR, AK, and that's debatable. But
Yeah.
so Canik is another good one. Budget pistol. Caniks hold their own against Glock. They really do. I hate to
Go
say
ahead,
it, man.
go
I don't
ahead.
own a Canik, but they hold their ass, man.
Yeah, everything I'll say it like this. Every single Canic owner that I've ever met adores their Canic. The only people that don't like Canics are the ones that don't own Canics. So I think that's a fair
Also,
thing.
hold on, I misspoke. Someone said HK inexpensive. No. HK is expensive. I'm talking their handguns. If you look at a VP9 and a P30 mainly, those are two of their flagship handguns right now, modern flagship handguns. They have older stuff.
Mhm.
6 and some change, 7. They're
Yeah.
pretty affordable.
Dude, they just had a VP9 on PSA for $499. That's insanity.
Bro,
And now
PSA needs to relax with their sales because
I
they're
know.
killing me, man.
I know, dude, I know. But let's be real. Like it was a non-optic cut, iron sight only, um, trigger guard magazine release. It was like the one that most people wouldn't, run in line to get. But it's still for somebody that wanted to get into a VP9 at a lower cost, it would still, give them what they want essentially. But the issue that you're going to run into is if you have a small group of guys, right? Most of your guys aren't going to be tossing around Canic magazines or VP9 magazines. The reality is that most dudes are going to be carrying a Glock, a 9mm Glock, and if you come across ammunition in the field, usually it's going to be double stack 9mm Glock magazines. So that's usually why I say on my kit is a Glock, even though if I had it my way, I would carry my Beretta M9A3 every single time because it works like crazy. I've never had an issue with it. The only stoppages I've had were all ammo related. And if it wasn't for the magazine issue, if I could force a Glock magazine in there with a mallet, I would. But alas, here we are. I could shoot no other Glock like I shoot my Beretta. It's just way more accurate. Way more accurate.
Also, John Doe, do not buy one of those Turkish Benelli clones. Don't you dare. You're better than that. You're a good
Yeah.
person. We're taking your man card if you do that.
You know, I've seen a lot of people do that, and it's just spotty on what kind of results you're going to get. Now, there are people out there like Safety Harbor that has fabbed some things that could improve your Turkish M4 clone, but
You want
I
an
couldn't.
M4 clone? Go get a Beretta 1301. It's a piston-driven shotgun. Their blink system's awesome. It's going to work, dare I
Or
say, just as well as the. I mean, first of all, it's the same company, Beretta Benelli. That doesn't mean anything, but
yeah, it's made by the
it's
same
going to
robots.
work for the average user just as well as a Benelli M4 for half the price.
Yeah,
So I just got an M4, picking it up on Friday.
nice, nice. Yeah, and honestly, even if the 1301 is out of your price point, it's really easy to go grab
Beretta A300.
a 300 Ultima. That thing is sick. Drop it like a Scott. I have a PSA dagger and a ton of mags for a Glock 17 clone. Yep, yep. As long as it runs, you know that. I think a lot of us in this like world are guilty. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying people in general. I'm old school Raven arms. Please don't. Please don't be running around with a Raven 25. Um, but well, they do make 380s and 9s too. But anyway, you know, I think a lot of dudes get a gun and they don't actually spend a lot of time behind it. They don't actually go to the range consistently, figure out what ammo the gun does and doesn't like, figure out what mags the gun doesn't like, you know, dry fire, you know, learn how to draw from your holster and time yourself. And you know, then all of a sudden, if we did have to use those tools to for whatever reason, fighting, you know, a small unit, fighting off invaders or tyranny, or if you end up in a Katrina situation or Hurricane Harvey situation,
Fighting
or
off hordes of Jews, you know?
exactly, it could be any or Germans, either one, right? If there even are such things as Germans.
They're a myth. They're like birds.
Yeah, right. But Red Dawn Ready says it's not just about magazine unity, DLD After Dark. It's also about how easy a gun is to work on. Hands down, the Glock is easiest design for anyone to work
That's
on.
every time I buy a gun,
Absolutely.
the first thing I do is field strip it. And I'm like, how easy is this compared to my Glock?
Yeah.
I don't even field strip my Glocks. I just detail strip them because it's that easy.
Yeah, dude.
Every time I strip my Glock, like firing pin, ejector spring, it's all coming out.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that you know, like magazine compatibility is the most important thing. However, when you think of an emergency situation, what's more likely to happen? And I'm not saying that your point's not valid. It is. I'm saying that for Red Dawn Ready, your point is valid. What I'm saying is, if you um, if you evaluate what situation you're more likely to run into and you evaluate, okay, am I more likely to, you know, run black on ammo or, you know, replace a part? It's likely that you're going to run out of ammo before you know, run your gun so hard that you need to replace parts. Should you have replacement parts? Absolutely. Should your gun be easy to work on? Absolutely. Should be. You can literally take apart a Glock with your hands and your keys. You know, it takes nothing to work on. Whereas like my Beretta, there's shit in my Beretta that I've never taken apart, and I have no plan on taking apart. I've only
You
cleaned
don't
it
carry
once.
Glock tool on your keychain? Because I do.
No, I
On my
don't.
main keyring, I bought a Glock tool. I drilled a hole through it, and it's on my keyring all the time. It has come in handy
Nice.
so many times.
You know, it honestly, it would be literally, it would fit in like the little hidden pocket on my Vertex jeans. I could put a channel liner tool, channel remover tool. This is probably the best Glock tool I've ever gotten. It is the cheap like Vism NC Star company, but it's got your punch, right? It's got a magazine removal tool,
Okay.
so you can literally pop it in, right? Hold it and then just squeeze it and it pops the base plate off, right? It has a tool that you can put your striker in, and you can use it as your third hand to put the cups on and all that. And it also has dun dun dun
A dingus.
A dingus. It's got a dingus.
Front
It's
sight
got
removal
the
tool.
front side to it. Yeah. So I mean, this literally can do anything, and it can open bottles as well. I mean, I barely use the punch. I used to way overuse the punch on shit that it shouldn't be used on. Like
I use the
I
punch on everything.
I've literally bent the dog shit out of this, and I finally, bent it back enough times that it will probably snap if I use it again. But I've used this to whatchamacallit, on the God, like staking castle nuts and shit like that. Like I definitely use this on all the wrong things. Um,
Just so you
Possibly
didn't think I
true.
was
You can
lying.
easily snag a mag off almost anyone. Nice, nice.
Glock tool. And Glock brand Glock tool. It's not the fake Amazon ones.
Yeah, fuck Amazon. So okay, so on that note, Red Dawn Ready, but possibly true, you can easily snag a mag off almost anyone. So there's definitely pros and cons and drawbacks and benefits to all of this, right? It's why we can have these conversations because each person needs to make their own decision on like what is the best thing for them. And honestly, if you have a team of like 6 dudes, your neighbors, whoever, and all of y'all run, VP9s, then all of y'all should run VP9s because you may find yourself screaming, "Throw me a mag," and that is important. Also, I'm the dude in my little group of people that carries more pistol mags than everyone else. I love doing my pistol work, right? So, I carry more pistol mags. It's probably going to be more likely that I'm tossing pistol mags to my buddies before, and there's other things too, like comms and plate carriers and all that shit, and we'll get into that too. But
Also, a
typically,
lot of people don't know this. Some people do. Most magazines are not manufactured by the manufacturer. They're made by Mechgar. If
yeah,
you notice, almost every metal magazine you own is going to have that little diamond pattern in it at the same spot.
yeah.
And you look at these mags and you're like, these look the same because they're all made by Mechgar. And with some slight modification with the Dremel to the where the mag release engages the mag, some of these mags will fit a lot of guns.
This is true. In a pinch, in an emergency, you can definitely CrossFit some
But
magazines together.
Shield Arms manufactures their magazines in-house.
They
Popular
do.
S15 mag for the Glock 43X has been fantastic.
And it's funny because some people say my S15s don't work. Well, mine do, and I only got the one on me right now.
Weird. I
But
think you and me should be getting more free S15s, right? It's like we never
that's a good point. I only have 3, and I purchased all of them. So you know, not Shield Arms, they manufacture in-house. Shout out to the S15ers out there. DLD After Dark. Have you ever shot a canic? I have dry fired a canic. I have not actually fired a canic. I know I need to. It'll change my life. I'll never fire another gun ever.
It's like firing a Glock. You're not going to shoot it and be like, it's the smoothest thing ever. It's a gun. It works. It works.
The trigger's way lighter than a
Trigger's better
Glock
than,
gun.
every trigger's better than a Glock. Who are we kidding?
Hey, but my Glock triggers, I can do some work on my Glock triggers, and almost every single person that uses or carries a factory Glock, when they pull my trigger and reset it, they're like, "Whoa, okay, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's a $20 trigger right there." I'm not down with like the $150. I love Timney triggers are dope. They're awesome. They're great and all that.
They're outside of their bolt action triggers. They have not had great success.
I'm just
MP5 trigger
saying.
was kind of a flop. The Glock trigger was kind of a flop at the beginning.
At the beginning, yes, they've improved the Timney trigger. If the person that installs it knows what they're doing and knows what to look for, then they're good. If y'all want to do that, go ahead and do it. But I'm saying you can achieve almost the same exact thing by a $20
But
in
you
parts and
took a
improvement.
simple platform and you complicated the trigger so much so that it was not working properly. You
Yeah,
just took away from the simple platform.
and similar to the Glock performance trigger, which I said I was going to do a video on. I have not. I was kind of torn on it at first, but
Did you buy
it's
it
just
or you have it already?
yeah, I got it. I got it a while back. And I bought it for $100, and I never should have spent that. Even when I was seeing them for $70, I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's worth it, right?
I'm not convinced, outside of Johnny Glocks, I'm not
hmm
convinced that there's much you can do for a Glock trigger to really improve it.
Yeah,
Like,
there's
not a ton. It's not noticeable.
yeah, you can. What I basically do is copy some of the things that Johnny Glocks does and improve some of the parts, and that's it. And the only thing aside from that that is going to give you a smoother, shorter trigger pull is shooting the ever loving dog shit out of your gun. That will polish up your trigger quick. Well,
Yep.
not quick, but you know what I mean. But no matter what, right? We've talked about there was just a VP9 for $499 on PSA. Most Glocks are going to be had for around $500. If you want to go, Leo trade in, you can get Gen 3 Glocks for like 400 bucks, right? Or you can get a Gucci MOS for 700 bucks. But whatever it is, for the most part, most handguns can be had for around $500. Me personally, I would be thinking of it like this: what handgun am I going to get that have prolific magazines that I may run into out in the street, whether it's taking off of a cadaver, law enforcement, military, civilian, right? And that may be Glock mags, it may be Sig mags, whatever it is. You guys make your decision, but obviously a Sig is going to be more than $500. But well, unless you build it from like a mup one or something like that, which can be done. But anyway, you also need to take into consideration the gear that you're using in conjunction with the handgun. You may be using, like, I have the Blue Alpha belt with a Safariland holster, and I love that kit. But depending on the event that we're talking about, if this is like an SHTF event or a WROL event, I may not be going out in full overt kit, right? I may also need to have some, concealable kit as well. Or maybe I do throw on, at least my gun belt and then throw a poncho over it, right? So I'm not like overtly carrying. Risky Krisky did a great video on this recently, showing the Viking Tactical super duper concealment pistol belt, which was great. It gives you the Cobra buckle. You can use like a Blue Alpha inner belt to use, in your jeans, and then wrap the Viking Tactical belt around it. It's elastic, so it's super close to your body, and you get 2 pistol mags, 2 rifle mags, medical kit, a radio pouch, which you can use for, whatever, an extra tourniquet, a multi-tool, a radio, anything like that, a grenade, uh, something like that, and then enough space for your holster. So that's like a full gun belt that is concealable, right? Like, those on that movie Heat, where they had those nylon, like super stretchy chest rigs that were like concealable. It's
Yep.
like that material. And man, I always wanted a chest rig like that because they're super concealable.
The Haley strategic chest rigs are pretty nice too, if you're looking for just a chest rig.
Yeah. Corn
But
Pop
do you know
says,
what else? Back to magazine compatibility.
mhm,
You know what the most magazine compatibility is in what platform?
um,
The
Glocks.
venerable AR-15, which I think we need to talk about.
Of course, and that's exactly what I was
The
going to
assault
transition to.
rifle 15.
Assault Rifle 15, established in 2015. I'm just kidding. Real quick before we go there, I hate Glock MOS platform system or plate system, as well as any pistol red dot system that requires plates.
Yes and no.
There's
You
a
could go
reason
with
for it.
something like CHPWS, which gives you a much thinner, lower profile mounting system. And with the right pair of sights, you're still lower 1/3 co-witnessing, no problem. It's just a little extra money spent, but
So here's my belief of why the MOS is. So 2 things. 1, I don't like the MOS. 2, the MOS is more effective than most other options for mounting a red dot on a pistol. Because when you're mounting a red dot on a Glock slide, usually what happens is you're mounting a red dot directly over the spring that operates your extractor. And what happens a lot of times is, and I've known dudes that cut screws to avoid this, but you could end up squishing down your extractor spring, which causes malfunctions. It basically turns your Glock into, a blowback design, right? It's not working like it should. You may get a few shots off, but for the most part, it's not working like it should. So the MOS design kind of defeats that by using those plates, which I appreciate that, and it is solid. It's more rigid than every aftermarket slide that's just RMR cut. Literally just has a threaded hole going directly to your extractor spring. The other one that did a really good job is Shadow Systems.
Sure did.
They completely changed the system in there to where the extractor spring is capped and it ends before your whatchamacallit, it ends before your screw
But the
hole.
easy solution is just to cut your screw.
Yeah.
File it. I did that
Yep.
recently with my 43X. Screw
Hmm.
was too long that came from Hollow Sun. I'm in it with
Yep.
a metal file. Good to go.
Yep. You can definitely do that. I will say all my like nice expensive optics are on my MOS platforms. No, don't get the CHP, get the DPP titanium. Hold on.
I was just saying CHP is a generic. There's plates out there that are thinner than that chunky Glock plate.
It's the best by far, but the Echelon is the best bet.
Shadow Systems pretty solid.
Strike Industries too. Strike Industries did an excellent job with a multi-platform. You can put every single red dot on it. Look, it's up to you and each individual person that's doing this, but here's what I would consider. If you're going to be using a handgun, like let's say a Glock for an example, and you're going to be mounting a red dot to it, and you are going to subject that handgun to a considerable amount of abuse, you need to really evaluate what type of system, like how you're mounting it. And almost every single aftermarket Glock slide, like trust from somebody that has built dozens and dozens and dozens of P80s and every other frame you could think of, right? From OEM frames to P80s to Lone Wolves to GST9s to I've done them all, right? Almost every single aftermarket slide that is RMR cut is literally just a CNC cut of the rough shape of an RMR to fit, most optics, because an RMR cut fits an RMR, 507C, 407, to all sorts of optics, right? Those, most of them are flawed. Most of them don't have recoil bosses, right? Most of them don't have a super tight fit. I have another slide here that I'm not going to name for a few reasons. I have another slide here that is like an over $300 slide stripped, okay? And I have a very high dollar optic mounted on it, and it is professionally mounted, and I can still take it and go
It's Zev.
I didn't say it.
My buddy had a Zev break in the middle of a competition. I don't know if it's Zev. I was kidding.
Yeah, no, it's not Zev,
He
but
was shooting in the Zev posts sheared, and optic went right past his head, hit him in the head, and fell on the ground.
see, I also have heard a lot of people having the Echelon system shear off red dots like crazy. Dang, Key ASC gifted 5 DLD After Dark channel memberships. My guy, thank you, brother. It looks like Sport Brand was gifted a membership. West Eli was gifted a membership. Bear Jew was gifted a membership. Oh, Bear Jaw. Sorry.
I'm Bear Jew. He's Bear Jaw.
That's right. I just always think of Inglorious Bastards, right?
My license plate. I shouldn't say
that. But it's BARE, if you know what I'm saying.
BAIR.
JC9 was gifted a membership, and DB Cooper was gifted a membership. Hell yeah, Key ASC. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. But that's just my little like thing on mounting red dots. Okay, most other guns you don't even run into this shit, right? Like it's not even like a thing. I do think the Beretta M9A4 plate system, although it probably works and it's probably rugged, that shit, a slide that the top of it is shaped like like that. I don't want a mount with 3 screws in it, catty cornered. All I don't know, that makes me feel weird. So I probably wouldn't do that. Um, that movie was gay. It was a fun movie.
So much
Um,
anti-septicism.
Antisepticism. Yes, we are antiseptic here.
Yep.
Jonah's Jewish, so he's allowed to say that.
Yeah, I get
Uh,
the J word pass.
on the echelon comes with pins. Also, they must have forgot to put the pins on when
That has
mounting.
happened if you mount it incorrectly.
It could be the reason I bring it up is because so I know a lot of guys, a lot of viewers here that have an echelon with red dots mounted. They use them, they love them. Um, I had gone to 2 local shooting ranges, and one local shooting range had one because these are rental guns that they rent out, and I mean, these people run the dog shit out of them. One sheared off an optic, and at the other range, 2 echelons sheared off the optics. Now, could they have been installed incorrectly? Of course, right? I just don't want them shearing off in my guys' faces, right? Like, I don't want you guys blowing your eyeballs out. Um, he brews his own J jokes. Yes, yes, he does. But anyway, that's my little thing. Shadow Systems did a great job. Strike Industries did a great job. I am okay with the MOS mounting only because of the rigidity that it comes with, even though I don't like it, if that makes sense.
I'm milling my 43X this weekend just to direct mount my optic.
Really?
Yeah, I have the MOS. It takes 10 minutes. I'm milling off the back posts and then just hitting the front 2 posts with a file and calling it a day.
Dude, I don't even run a rear sight on my main
Blasphemy.
block. I know. But you know what? Shit works. It works for me. And I originally got it. I got the slide set up. This is the black multicam Gen 545 with the Holosun SCS. And that's a very low sitting optic with kind of an RMR shape. It's a square shape, right? And with a front sight, and it didn't come with a rear sight. And the dude was like, "That's how I run it. It runs great." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be the judge of that." I took it out and I was like, "Oh my God, I actually prefer this. I prefer more field of view." And I've been drawing handguns for years and years and years. I don't really need the rear sight. I don't know. So I don't really use it that much.
Kioski said there are a few other things you could do that don't take much time with a file.
Yes, this is also true.
Hold on, I
Yes.
got you on this.
Yeah. Or just get a direct mount milled and do it right. Here's the only thing I can't
Who
bear
needs
with.
files when you have jigs?
Ayo, DLD hardware. I'm just kidding. Check out DLD hardware for all of your spicy jigs. Dude, y'all don't know. I am in the jig business, right? I am the jig man. You have no idea how tempted I am all the time to start putting some super spicy jigs out there. And who knows, maybe one day you'll see one pop up out there. But anyway, somebody mentioned why the AK over the AR. I've never taken that stance personally.
No, he said AK or AR. I don't know what he was responding to, but he originally asked AR or AK, Gabber.
Oh, okay. I just saw another one.
Yeah.
AK
I'm
or
going
AR
AR.
dark, you must choose. So Gabber, what do you think? Just out of curiosity, if there was a hint laying around that maybe you could just take a wild guess. Look, I love AKs. Okay, AKs work, and AKs are great at throwing 30 cal rounds, and they function. Um, when it comes to the functionality of it, like from not the function of the firearm, a functional standpoint of your gear and all that, could you run an AK? Absolutely. Is it the premier option to run a heavy ass rifle with a heavy ass round with heavy ass magazines that aren't even shaped like anything else in America. You know what I mean? Like, is that my primary option? No. Primary is always going to be the AR. I may run an AK if so. It depends on the event. Okay, if we're talking about um, AR-10 is cool. AR-10 is king in my mind for my needs because long range. But the AK is the bridge between close quarters and long range, in my opinion. So it's certainly not ineffective, right? Like I would never want to be shot at by an AK, but um, the only time I think it would be a really good use of a selection would be if, let's say, we were being invaded by some other force that carries AKs. I think that's a reasonable thing to do because there's going to be donors all over the ground with AK magazines, you know. And also on your gear, do you have magazine carriers that you can carry AR and AK magazines in? Because like the HSGI tacos could carry either one, but I moved over to the S-Tax because I'm going to be rocking AR shit, right? So right now, I couldn't just throw AK mags in my current gun belt setup. So
I wouldn't say the AK is a great long range gun any more so than I would say the AR is a great long range gun, the AR-15.
I think he's saying that it kind of bridges the gap between like the AR and the AR-10. I don't think he's saying that the AK is a good long range gun.
Yeah, I don't. I I think you're going to be just as effective with an AR at like medium to long range as you would with an AK.
Yeah, I think we'll just stick with medium range because
Yeah.
the reality is that the long range guys out there are going to be like, did someone say long
Yeah, it's
range?
not long. I mean,
How
I've
many
taken I
meters?
think the max I've gotten my 5.56 out to with a 16-inch barrel, it's like 600 yards. It's nothing
Yeah.
impressive. It can do more, but on
And
steel it's fine, but I wouldn't say that it's an effective weapon at 800 yards.
you know, I hold on. Fun fact, DLD viewers are automatically members of the prestigious Giant Tallywhack Club and a huge deck committee to maintain standards and practices in the decking industry. This is true. Sport brand, thank you. Good to see you, by the way.
Shut up, good
So
knowledge. You know what we're talking about. He's like PSLs and SVDs. First of all, SVD is not loosely based on the AK. PSL, yes. SVD, no.
yeah, I mean, they're AK type, right? That's like saying a Bear
Yeah.
Creek Arsenal side charger is
He's just
an
instigating.
AR-15. But I mean, he's not wrong. A PSL is definitely a long range tool. Would that be my first long range tool choice? Fuck no, but they
It's a
are
good long
effective.
range tool if you want to shoot 8 MOA.
I mean, you know, I guess it depends what glass you got on it, what ammo you're shooting. There's a lot of other factors there, but can you go out? Let's say the shit popped off. If all you have is an AK and a 5-shot J frame 38, could you be effective? Yes, absolutely. You could be effective, and it would be best for you to use those weapons to take other weapons. You know, I have AKs, and the purpose of my AKs are probably just to hand out to other people or use in the case that AK magazines were going to be, prevalent. It just depends on what happens. AK magazines and ammunition and parts are going to be more available in the civilian world than it would be anywhere else, right? AKs just aren't fielded in our country. So I think the only case that makes, unless you have to use it, the only case that makes sense to, run out and use it is if we're being invaded by dudes with AKs. Also, it may confuse people for a bit if you get in like, some good concealable, low vis setup and you're rocking an AK, it may buy you the 1 second that you need for them to be like, should I shoot him or not? And you're like, yet, you know, I'm just,
Also, AKs are it's not the lightest platform compared to an
yeah,
AR.
that's one of the things I
And with
mentioned.
the
They're heavy.
MP5, it's a great sub gun. They're heavy.
Yeah. I also, before we get into the AR thing, should we talk about pistol caliber carbines and subguns?
I feel like more people want to know about the AR platform before PCCs. I mean, they could say otherwise in the chat, but I feel like the
Yeah.
AR is kind of the overarching. What's a good budget AR? Oh, dude, knowledge is gonna lose it on this one.
Oh yeah, due knowledge, you are not going to be able to handle the companies that we're going to be talking about here in a moment. But I will say, I have seen a bunch of dudes posting pictures of 9 mil pistol caliber carbines, 9 mil ARs, AR9s, and sub guns, saying like that's like their SHTF rig. I would just encourage anyone out there, if you are considering a PCC or a sub gun, those are good for certain things. But if you're going to be carrying something that is rifle shaped, then it should likely bear a rifle cartridge.
Also, this is a common misconception. I saw someone say in the chat, the rest of the world uses AKs. That's not true. Look at
Not
any
true at all.
modern military. They're going to have M4s. The IDF, as much as you'd think they'd have Tavors everywhere, they have a plethora of M4s.
Yeah, a lot of them do carry
Britain,
M4s.
UK, they all have M4s. And who do you think supplying them?
Even the what was it the UK?
We just
that
left
used to rock
millions of them
the-
over in Afghanistan. They're now
Yeah.
using M4s. It's crazy.
Even the freaking
the Tech 15s and everything.
the Taliban is rocking M4s.
M4s are everywhere. So to say the whole world uses AKs, the whole world has AKs because of old Soviet inventory.
Yeah.
But the whole world also now has M4s, and they're using them because it's a modern weapon.
Also, that I think it was the UK where they traded in those bullpup L86s or whatever the fuck those are, and they traded them in.
It's not an FAL, not an FAL. God damn it, a FAMAS. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
not a FAMAS, not
Not a
the
FAMAS.
not the surrender handles, or no surrender sticks. It's got the built-in bullpup.
Also, yeah, NATO. It's the M4 is the gun of NATO.
Yeah, that
It's
is
like
true.
I think in the next 10 to 20 years, the M4 will be more prevalent than the AK.
Bring me
around
the
world.
gun of NATO.
NATO's pointless.
Just kidding. Is the gun of Rambo joke. But so a lot of other countries are using M4s, AR-15, style rifles. But even so, other countries, even if they're not rocking M4s, they're using like AR compatible magazines, or they're using. I mean, some do have FALs. Some do have. What are I can't remember what those like L86 bullpup shits, what they went to. I think it was Jesus. Whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not our country. But anyway, get whatever you can get for the best price. If it's a battle rifle, just know that an AR-15 is cheaper than every other option. Back in the day, you had an excuse, okay? Because an AR was $1,000 and an AK was
You can buy
$350.
a crate of AKs for $1,000.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, literally, right? Like now the tables have literally turned to where you can get an AR for under $400. I would say fieldable AR, if shit hit the fan. It wouldn't be necessarily like my go-to, but a fieldable AR for around $400 or $500, and your AK is still going to be $1,000, right? We have destroyed the importation of these super dope Comblock firearms. So there's not.
We tried to make them here and absolutely just destroyed them. They're horrid.
Yeah. It's terrible. The Taliban uses AKMs. They did before we left them 2 million M16s and M4s. They did. DLD After Dark, I have $1,500 on a semi-automatic rifle right now. Which do I buy? So
PWS.
okay.
PWS.
And don't listen to any
They
PWS.
just released their Mark 118. It's an
Dude,
18-inch. I'm gonna buy one.
If you're gonna buy one and you're not gonna build one, I got that Geisley Super Duty for $14.99.
Okay,
Okay.
but you got a killer deal on that. That's not, you're not going online and finding that deal regularly.
Rich just got his for $12.60. Now, granted, it was the Luna Black one, and Crump got his for like 13 something, right? But those were on sale, right? Those were deals that you had to wait for. Is Geisley Super Duty the rifle? No, it's not the rifle, right? It there are different classes of rifles. So let's go through it. So what would you say are like the when you're looking at like lower tier entry level stuff, what are companies that you'd
So if we're
consider?
talking low tier, Bear Creek, PSA, that's a debated topic, but I'm putting them in low tier.
Yeah, I'd put them in
Not
low
saying they
tier.
don't work.
I mean, I
What was
think
that
that's
other one?
fair.
ATI.
I could not say anything, just being honest, that PSA is anything but entry level, right? Maybe low tier is a little bit harsh. I got a bunch of PSA guns. So for anyone out there, I got PSA daggers, I got PSA ARs. So, and I will also say the Bear Creek Arsenal is also a tier below PSA. Um, but it's creating an availability of ARs and AR parts for the masses. I am of the belief that you can, like when I call you for stuff, right? I used for that frag out build, the frag out upper and lower, even though they're beautiful and they're engraved and they're painted and all this stuff, those are Anderson uppers. It's an Anderson upper and lower, right? But I have a Noveske barrel, I have a BCM handguard, I have Battle Arms Development BCG and bolt, and the rest of the parts are Aero Precision, a few Geisley parts, and BCM parts. And I kind of put together like a Frankenstein build. If you're going to go, so in short, I can buy a CMG Mutant for $11.99. It's not a bad idea, but I think CMMG is great. I have just never seen a CMMG that is battle proven. Like I haven't seen a CMMG with, 40,000 rounds through it. No one fields CMMGs. No, you know what I mean? Like I think CMMGs are great, like fun guns, but I don't know if I would use one like on my kit for the same reason that I was looking at the Q Sugar Weasel, and I was like, man, I couldn't see me actually rocking this like on my kit because none of it is proven. It's good quality, it's great quality, it's expensive, it's pretty, but I can't go look anywhere to see that the Q Sugar Weasel or the AAC, whatever, that it's been battle proven. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So we could break it down into tiers. I know this is like some people don't like this. So your destitute tier, just crap. Anderson.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still around Delton.
Yeah, I think they are. But really quickly,
DPMS.
for barrels, I will just say most barrels are made by like a handful of companies. Other companies just white label them, right? I just bought a 14 and a half inch, 1-7, uh, uh, government profile, SOCOM, whatever, an AR barrel for $39. And it was an Anderson barrel, but it's likely made by Mossberg, which guess what? If you go name like the top like 5 mid-tier companies or low to mid-tier companies, I guarantee you that these are the same barrels that are being made by a bunch of other companies
But
that,
there's a reason it's $39 when their other barrels cost substantially more.
yeah, they were like $119 on sale for $39. I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck, I'll get it. Why not? I like Walt with Safety Harbor, we were talking and he had said he bought some Bear Creek Arsenal barrels and the gas block holes were drilled on the wrong side of the barrel.
Yeah, that sounds right. So,
Like
well, let's continue with this tier list because this is gonna stir some shit. So
LWRC, I'd say is high mid tier.
So yeah, Destitute, Anderson, Delton, Bushmaster for a while. They were crap. DPMS, I don't know what they're doing. UTG stuff. I don't know if they make rifles still. That's all no. I would say budget tier is the next step, which is going to be affordable. It'll do the job, plan for upgrades. That's where I would throw Palmetto, Smith and Wesson, Ruger is in there. I don't know what's maybe no, I don't think they're around. Springfield, Spikes, I'd say is probably budget tier.
Yeah.
That's I'd say that's some of the budget brands. Then you start getting into mid tier.
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna have your Arrow, which is like low mid tier. You could break it down even more. CMMG, Colt,
LWRC. I'd say
would
high
you put
mid tier.
LWRC is like high mid.
And the only reason, because guys, you got to remember that some of these really high quality battle proven firearms are like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Right? It is not inexpensive. You know, when people say like, man, I got this, $2,000 rifle. Why would I put a $2,000 piece of glass on it? Because that $2,000 piece of glass is meant to go on a $5,000 rifle. you know, so I would say LWRC is high mid tier, even though I love
So
LWRC.
LWRC, BCM, Geisley. Geisley's pushing into high tier, not there.
Yeah, I'd say
Defense.
right below.
Daniel
below high
Defense
tier.
is not a high tier rifle, guys.
No, that's mid tier.
FN. These are all like high mid tier. I personally, and I think a lot of people would agree, PWS is high mid.
I'd say it's high mid. I'd put it
I'm
up
a
there with
PWS,
LWRC.
though. I love my PWSs.
I think Dude Knowledge says Daniel Defense is low tier. So I think it's overpriced. There aren't a lot of
Daniel?
benefits. Yeah.
100%.
I'm not saying that it's low tier, right? That was what Dude Knowledge said. However, and I know this is going to offend a lot of people, everything that we're talking about, but guys, you have to remember that when we say, like low tier, budget, mid tier, high mid tier, we're just talking about, we're not saying that the shit doesn't work. Okay. Like I could not tell you how many PSA guns that I have put together that maybe I just, upgraded the barrel in the BCG or, whatever. I've used inexpensive parts. It doesn't mean the gun doesn't work or that it is not functional. So don't get it confused with what we're talking about.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Maybe Sons of Liberty. That's kind of like high mid tier.
Low tier. I'm just kidding. I'm joking.
Where does Radiant fall? I feel like Radiant is still probably high mid. I would
say Radiant is the entry to high tier.
Yeah. Someone said where's Q ranked? Q doesn't rank on any of this. I'm sorry, but their rifles are cool. It's not the rifle you're going to take into battle.
Yeah,
it's
they're
not
cool.
A budget tier rifle. I wouldn't trust it. I don't know. They're cool.
Damn, Dude Knowledge is getting lit
Someone
up.
said, is Daniel Defense better than a PSA? Yes. In all seriousness,
sure.
Barrels are pretty solid. They make really good barrels. Okay, Dude Knowledge said it about Kevin from Q. I said nothing.
I didn't say anything.
Daniel Defense makes good barrels, but you're paying a lot for a mil-spec gun.
Dude, they're
$200 for a good barreled rifle.
Their barrels sell by themselves for like $389, bro.
And I have no doubt that you could take that Daniel Defense rifle, toss it off a 3 or 4 story building. It's gonna run.
Yeah.
It's a lot for a mil-spec trigger, mil-spec everything.
Yeah.
With a really good barrel.
Yeah. They've gotten their reputation based off of their shit working, but let's be honest. Their shit runs, their shit is reliable. It is not worth $2,899 for something that you can build. But like something like BCM, BCM, their bolts, I got this bolt right here, right below me, that's pushing 10,000 rounds, and I have so mistreated this shit. I've barely cleaned and maintained it, and that one is not a BCM barrel. It's a Colt barrel and a BCM BCG, and that thing has been flawless for me. But still, it's mid tier.
Yeah. And then you've got your high, like your top tier. Knights armaments obviously up there.
Yeah,
Um,
somewhere
great
around.
rifles.
SLR.
LMT was there for a bit. I don't know. I don't know that I'd still call LMT high tier.
Yeah,
LaRue, the same thing. LaRue makes really good rifles. Also, can we talk about how much of a fucking meme lord Mark LaRue is?
yeah.
That guy just does shit because it's funny. Did you see that
Midwest
new?
does make nice stuff.
Did you see that new M16 rail or the new carry handle rail he came out with?
Mm-mm.
He came out with a rail that goes between your carry handle and your front sight post. It gives you a line of Picatinny between the two.
What?
No need for it. It's stupid. Did you also see his big iron sight thing that goes on top of your AR rail?
No, no.
It's a big chunk of metal like this big, and it's 2 iron sights that goes on your receiver rail.
Wow.
Pointless. But
That's
he
like
made it.
the dude, I forgot what it was. He got like his house raided or something like that, and he had a red dot, like a Pinty, $25 red dot, and then he had Magpul flip up rear and front, like back to back on the front of the handguard.
Something he would do. He's a
Yeah.
troll, dude.
I
But
I wouldn't personally put LaRue into high tier.
I
I
think
would
mm, I think there's still like operators that will run their rifles and stuff occasionally. They're heavy rifles now.
Yeah,
Um
and Lewis Machine
Noveski
and Tool, Noveski, I'd say
Noveski
is
worked their way into high tier in the last like couple of years. Noveski's great. HK, I'd say they're high tier, maybe.
you said
I
HK?
Yeah, I don't know that there's
Yeah.
really much that I would put into the high tier category. Basically, like Knights and maybe HK and Noveski.
I mean,
Um,
SLR Rifle Works is a great company. I don't know if they'd be in high tier, but it would be like
SLR does
that.
aesthetically cool shit, but I don't know if they
Yeah.
do high tier shit.
I think it kind of falls into the Q category because I don't want us to allow price to place this stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, and high tier is a mixture. You've got price, you've got contracts and use in theater.
mhm,
Um, you've got
longevity.
reliability. There's a lot of things that play into the tier list.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's really niche for SLR.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I'd say HK is like, yeah, it's low high tier. It's entry high tier. I don't know. Deep
Yeah.
knowledge. What else would you say is high tier? Because I'm very cautious to put anything in that category.
Are you gonna say F1 firearms?
Oh God.
Sorry. I think it's cool to have so SLR, Q, and F1 firearms all fall under the category of, I don't find F1 firearms cool, but like cool, fun to shoot, and not for use in real
Yeah.
situations.
Oh, that's another one I've seen popping up is Evolve Weapon System, EWS. They've been popping up lately and they make good shit.
I don't think an HK91 is effective in 2023. I mean,
Now,
don't get me wrong. Would I want someone emptying 20 rounds of an HK91 anywhere near me? Absolutely not. But when you're talking about a gun that you're going to sling up on your body and carry around with, run around with, hop fences with, break windows, drive cars, rob bank, do all sorts of stuff with, an HK91 is almost unusable unless you're running the 7.5 inch, and you do not want to run a 7.5 inch HK91.
it'll rattle itself apart. I thought
Yeah.
about building one in full auto just because I have the trigger pack.
Hmm.
They destroy themselves as you shoot them.
HK91 reloads be like, "Bleh," too many choices. So HK91 or AK. If you're giving me those choices,
AR.
AK. Yeah, an AR-15.
I mean, I
It,
don't know, Gabber, what guns do you have?
yeah,
And I mean, I'd go AR. Go instead of buying a bunch of ARs, get one really good quality AR. Um, But yeah, dude said that's about it for high tier. I agree. There's not a ton that falls into high tier, and there's a lot that falls out of it.
Well, and honestly, most times if you go to most gun shops and you ask what are high tier rifles, they're going to be like Daniel Defense, BCM. Like
That's because that's what
that's
they carry.
yes, that's what they have. That's what dudes buy, and they buy it because of shit they see on the internet. They buy it from, YouTubers. They get free BCM shit sent to them. I'm sorry, I'm just calling it out. Whatever. Is BCM an excellent company? Absolutely. Like they're quality shit. My right now, right? So I'm taking what? Fuck it, I'll show it.
Oh, Gabber, would you go on my website, get my phone number, and just text me?
Yeah.
We'll chat after the show or tomorrow. You need an AR, especially if you don't have an AR in your arsenal, you need one. It's kind of like a must-have weapon.
Yeah, that's one thing. I didn't want to, put it out, but like if I want to ask if you had an AR, but if you do not have an AR, that is an extremely important thing to get. And even like guys, check this out.
Someone said, Gabber, are you 63 with an NRA hat on your head?
NRA laugh member. Don't say SIG MCX isn't. Hold on. Oh, we didn't place SIG. I would say SIG is high
SIG
mid.
doesn't fall into any category. They're SIG.
Yeah, but I mean, if you had to, me personally, I'd say they're like
They're
higher
overpriced.
higher mid tier. Of course, they're overpriced, but so it's kind of like the MCX has been fielded in some situations. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like when I looked at, okay, if I'm going to drop 2 grand, $2,500, if I looked at the MCX Spear or the Gazzy Super Duty, I'm going to go with the Gazzy Super Duty because it's a proven design, it's a proven system,
And it's an
and
M4, like a true platform. Like
exactly.
MCX is its own thing, its own parts. They're cool.
But
I
all the
wouldn't.
proprietary shit, so we're saying M4 like style, right? Not it takes M4 magazines and it's got a 5.56 rifle barrel, right? But the issue, which is what we're about to get to, is that if your shit goes down, you can't be like, "Hey, bro, do you have an extra BCG?" Like, can I borrow your buffer spring? You're short, right? If your gas tube blows up on your gun, you want to be able to either swap the gas tube or swap it up or whatever in like a pinch, right?
Yeah.
You can't do that if something goes down on your MCX or your Q or what, I don't know, maybe if it's a sugar weasel, you may be able to throw another upper on it. But either way, it's conformity, not proprietary, and it's you need shit that's okay. This is another thing.
Yeah,
The
no, that's not
5.56.
everyone can obtain that.
So I got the SIG 5.56 SWAT SBR, and I have a tough time because we're talking like that's a $2,500 rifle, right? And it's the SIG SWAT SBR. It is based off of the 5.52 5.5 5.52 5.56 whatever it is, the original SIGs that had the rock and lock magazines, the translucent rock and lock magazines, but it takes AR magazines, and it is a tank. It is an absolute tank, piston driven system. I love it,
It's
but
heavy as shit, though.
heavy as a motherfucker. It is ungodly heavy,
It's
and
like you've
they
got AK, Galil, and then SIG 550 series as far as weight
It
goes.
is. It is insanity. It is a way. It's just crazy heavy. But here's where they messed up. I would probably like consider using that rifle in a bad situation because I don't believe it's going to go down. It is like any rifle can go down, but it's so unlikely to go down that I would rock it if it weren't for one thing. The flaw in that firearm, they built like way overbuilt the whole gun, and then the stock, the entire hinge and rear system of the stock is all polymer.
Yep.
If you took one tumble with that thing, one fall, if you hopped a fence and it whacked the fence post, like it is breaking off and it's turning into an AOW. I'm going to buy the Zastava M70 ZPAP anyway, probably. It's a good gun. It's a good gun. If you got $1,500, man, I feel bad you just missed the Geisley Super Duty. I mean, that is an excellent AR to get into for like sub $1,300. The black one for $1,260. That would have been a crazy deal because their uppers alone sell for like $1,460 or whatever it is. But again, a lot of people have been like, "Oh, Dark is on the Geisley ball sack." Like, it's just when you look at all these different guns that we're mentioning, and you look at what do I want to get into, what do I want to pay for it, and how long will it last me? In my opinion, I mean, this is just what I wanted and the color that I wanted. But in my opinion, the longevity there for the $1,500 or $14.99, whatever I paid for it, was actually like $16.94 with tax and transfer and all that. But anyway, it's worth it for me because it's likely going to outlive me, and I'll one day give it to someone else in my family if I'm lucky enough to die an old man. You're muted. I got no audio. Did your shit come unplugged or something? Nothing. P.S. Most of your outfitted government issued are outfitted with Knight's armament, Aimpoint, E-Attack, and other high tier stuff. Facts. Nothing. I can't hear you. Maybe try changing the settings off your mic and see. Nothing. I honestly, so like Tavors are kind of the same thing. Tavors are dope. They're awesome, but I also don't know if I would like want to rock that in like an actual. So here's the thing. You can take any gun that if you believe that you can, and I'll tell you the second I hear you come back in, Jonah. Yeah, I got nothing now. You can take any rifle that has proven itself like 500 rounds, without a malfunction or whatever, and you could take that into any gunfight. And if you think you can get another 500 or 1,000 rounds through it, you're likely not going to have any issue. But I'm just saying, to have a trusted unit that you'll be able to keep with you and get more time behind, and it becomes an extension of you, essentially. The bond between weapon and warrior become one. Right? Not to be cheesy, but it's like you can use anything, and at the same time you want to use something that is trustworthy and effective. I still got no audio. Go into the settings in StreamYard and turn off the mic and see if it comes back. The SIG 556 is a solid platform. I've seen a lot of. I think it was like the Hawaii police department that had a shitload of them. Like, I was just blown away how many they had. No, still nothing. Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? Let's see. The new 308 Tavor looks kind of nice. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm sorry, I have seen that. I haven't shot any Tavors though. My unit is a bamboo. And did you just steal Shogun's tagline? Yes. But I've mentioned that before. And I'm sorry, I meant to give him credit for that too, but I was distracted by Jonah's lack of audio. No, I mentioned this earlier in the show. I'm going to have to cancel the orders and kick them back because they're not fulfilling the orders. And it's either I've got it narrowed down to this because they literally have completely grayed out the option for fulfillment. For this image, the image of the Sleepy Roofer, aka the first ATF agent that went night at Waco. They're either not fulfilling the orders because of this picture, or they're not fulfilling the orders because the website that I'm selling them on sell firearm related items and tools and stuff, but I don't know. So I'm going to have to literally kick back all the orders that came through, and then I'm going to have to start a new store off of DLD hardware and then resync it. It's a huge pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Jonah, Control Alt Delete. Yeah. Oh, dude, I got a whole lineup, man. If you go to DLD hardware and go to best sellers, there is a pillow, there is hoodies, there are shirts, there are flags. There, if I didn't have 5 guns on that flag right now, because I just had to set them somewhere, I would show you. But fucking hold on. Ow. All right. But DLT After Dark, that flag is backwards. I know, it's kind of the point. And also, Kimball, I am trying to find a way to recreate the other like single one. I may have to do like double, triple, or 4 pictures. Hold on.
Sorry, I'm rebooting my computer real quick. I don't know what just happened there. But
yeah, it just stopped like mid tier.
I'm wondering if that cable on the Blue Yeti finally did what you said it would.
Dude, those things always get toasted. I don't know what it is. It could also be, did you try to like mess with it or tighten it or anything?
I tried to plug in both ends.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is a rifle that does not get enough love, and some people don't know it, Barnes Precision Machine, BPM. They are out of Apex near me. They've done a lot with like SOCOM, and the guy himself, I think he has some history as well. Dude, great rifles.
Dude, sorry, real quick, Gabber, the hoodies and backpacks are on there as well, but they're not fulfilling the orders. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have to get with Sport Brand and ask for some help with that, because it should all link. And when somebody places an order, I thought usually it's fulfilled and delivered within 2 weeks. So I was waiting to see if they would fulfill it, but they're not. But all that shit is available at DLD hardware. It's just for some reason they're not fulfilling it, and I've been trying to figure out for over 2 weeks what's going on with it. Sorry, go ahead and keep going for a second. I got to piss real quick.
Yeah, no, Barnes Precision Machine. Check them out. They're out of Apex. They make all DI rifles, but they're just, you pick them up and they're solid rifles. Oh, Keltec? No. Good on that. Panther Arms. Never heard of them. Yeah, okay, Dude Knowledge. You know about Barnes Precision. Really good people over there. I've been over to their warehouse, their factory. Who do I use for Team Wendy stock? You're talking about for dealers? I have a couple sources for Team Wendy. Let me try to get back in this. Hit me up for that. I'll tell you who I'm a distributor for, or what distributor I use for Team Wendy. But yeah, you're not going to find that on normal wholesale channels. You're going to have to become a dealer for a specific distributor, and there's going to be minimums and whatnot. If you're looking for a Team Wendy helmet just for you, let me know. Let's get you something at cost.
Sorry, I had to step away for a second. So, okay, so a couple things I wanted to just add in really quickly. For somebody out there, like we were talking about, that may not have an AR, I would say that is one of the most like important first purchases that you should make when we're talking about like, you know, tyranny fighting equipment, because an AR is a highly effective round. You can throw a 30 rounder in there, a 40 rounder in there, a 20 rounder in there, right? A 40 rounder in there, a surefire 60 rounder in there, if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not a drum guy myself, but some dudes run D60s, right? Like that, you can throw so many different options of Freedom Seed holding, units in there. But also, like we were talking about earlier, it is the most prolific setup for a DI for a direct impingement system. You can easily grab parts. You can work on it very, very easily with basic tools. It's simple to just, repair it if something goes down. It is designed to where the gas tube is going to fail before anything else when we're talking about like, extended use, in one sitting. So it's just easy shit. Like, that you can replace the BCG and bolt, and you can replace the gas tube and fix most of your issues like that. If any of your controls break or have issues, lower parts kits or cheaps. Aero Precision are decent, inexpensive lower parts kits that I use those in some of my builds too. So anything like that. The Maverick 88, bro. I love the Maverick 88. I have not seen it in FDE though. Those are great shotguns to get into. If you're looking at a semi-auto shotgun, right? I'm looking at like these Mossbergs that are like $900, and these semi-autos that are like over $1,000, and I'm like, this Beretta A300 Ultima is under $1,000. You can perhaps get it for less if you hit a Big Mac Defense, but and he may even be able to get the gray platinum colored receiver one.
I love that gun.
Dude, it's awesome. But for your cost, but then there's a downside with shotguns too, right? Shotguns are only highly effective at 50 yards and in. The moment you go to 75 to 100 yards, your shot patterns are a little less consistent, and you got to switch to slugs, and that's okay. But even slugs can be a little difficult to be as accurate with in a cylinder bore with a rifled slug at 100 or beyond 100. Anything within that, it's going to be a highly effective firearm. You just have the lower capacity to deal with.
My computer just like toasted itself. My audio driver keeps going in and out.
Really?
What is going on?
Jeez. Oh, and also you can make a Home Depot 12 gauge too, if that's what you want, but just know there's limitations with that too.
What happened to Royal Nunsuch?
I think something happened to him, but I think, didn't he get booted?
Maybe.
I think he got booted off the platform for a bit.
Yeah, he definitely wouldn't fly now. He's a builder, dude.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know, wasn't he making those 50 BMG Cerbus?
With the Zerbu, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I think no, that's my webcam.
Those ones that exploded. Dude, there was a Galil for like $850 at my local gun shop when I was younger. For the longest time, it was just sitting there. It would not move. No one bought. It was just sitting there forever, right? It was a lifer. And one day I was like, you know what? That Galil in 5.56 that it was just been sitting there forever. I'm going to go buy it today. And I go to buy it, and it was right around the I think it was around the time that Sandy Hook happened. And dude, that angle makes that mic look like something really dirty.
It doesn't look like a phallic object.
Tis. Yes, it does.
Dude, I don't know what's going on with this mic. It's just like,
I mean, if you got to go old school and use the the regular mic.
yeah, but
with
then I look like
Jeff,
Dude
okay.
Knowledge with some like blurry camera. Looks like I'm filming on a potato.
Oh god, that's the worst. Form 1 Home Depot PVC pipe. You could do that. You could do that. Look, I think the important thing here is that like no one is gonna gun snob anyone out here for picking and choosing certain things, right? And sometimes some of the stuff that people typically refer to as Gucci can actually be had for like a very reasonable cost. Like a lot of people say that Geisley is like super Gucci, but out here in this geographic area in Virginia, they're selling those super duties for 2,000, 2,500 bucks for like the green one, 2,500, 2,599. Like that's insanity, right? But during that sale, you could pick them up for 12, 13, 1,400 bucks, right? There are times when things go on sale that you can end up getting a better price, and you just have to make the with your timing and planning financially, you just have to make the best decision and be like, okay, I'm going to go for this around this time, around Black Friday, around Christmas, around New Year's, or whatever, right? And make that decision. Midwest Industries, I'd say, is mid tier. They make decent stuff. I don't know who makes like the barrels and shit that they like. I don't know. When I look at Midwest Industries, I look at them for like hand guards, and I look at them for parts and accessories, not things that I would necessarily be using for major components of a build. But I mean, you can, and this is kind of where we fell off last time we were having this conversation. You can take like that last build that I did. I took the frag out upper and lower, which is an Anderson upper and lower. I got the Noveski barrel and Noveski barrel, Noveski gas block, Noveski gas tube, which is all good shit. I got a deal on it. It was previously owned, not used very much at all. And it's in great condition. I got it for like 230 bucks. That's a crazy good deal. And then the Battle Arms Development BCG, I just picked that up on a whim to have an extra BCG that was like, decent. But a lot of shit that Battle Arms Development does is kind of niche type shit too, right? Like I probably wouldn't take a Battle Arms Development gun into battle unless you use like their workhorse upper and lower to build something, because that's like more standard and regular shit. But they make dope shit. But I just wanted to see if I could trust the BCG and the bolt. That's all. And then everything else is basically, run of the mill, like arrow, some Geisley parts, like the Geisley braided tube, braided buffer spring and buffer, and then arrow and BCM parts for the lower parts kit.
Another good buffer system to look into is the Voltor A5.
Oh, come on. I'm just kidding. No, you're right. I'm joking. Yeah, no, dude, the Voltor, VLTOR, whatever, they make some dope shit. And they've been making dope shit since like back in the day. They're
like low key dope too. They're not like, you don't really know they're dope until you know them.
Yeah, like you'll go buy like a light mount or something like that, and you'll pick it up and look at it and be like, oh shit, it says VLTOR on it, I got a shit, I may have it right here. It is a 1-inch light mount, and it's got the American Defense QD on it. Dude, I have so much just gun shit everywhere. I don't know, but it's
Great job. We talked about LaRue earlier.
Yeah, LaRue is top high tier, top
mid tier, top mid tier.
Oh no one can touch it. Top high tier, the best out there. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, it's higher mid tier.
Something else I want to talk about is suppressors.
That's a great idea.
I think people are afraid of suppressors. They're afraid to talk about them, think about them, look at them.
Actually, I'm sorry, but really quickly before we do, and I think it's important that we do get into cans, but caliber, would your main rifle be a 300 blackout?
No, still sticking with 5.56.
Okay, deal. Agreed. Everyone in chat, let me know if you agree. Okay, sorry. Suppressors. A lot of people are.
I think people are afraid of them. There's a lot of misconception and just unknown. And because of that, I think people have written them off.
I think
And I think it's a crucial piece of kit. If you own a rifle, there is no reason that you do not own a suppressor. And especially because the entry, sorry, I'm just plugging my mic back in. The entry to the suppressor market is a lot cheaper than you'd think.
Yep. I think a can for a rifle, especially your main go-to rifle, is almost mandatory.
I was reading chat here. Yeah, I just uninstalled my driver. We're gonna see what happens. But yeah, suppressors are crucial. Start your weight on it now. Don't fall into the mindset of, oh, I'll get it in a month. I'll get it next month. I'll do it in a couple months from now. I want to buy this gun first. Get the suppressor now. Recoup some money. Kit out your gun. Get your optic. Get the main things you need on a rifle are an optic, a light, and a suppressor. If you're going to build out a bare bones rifle, those are 3 things minimum you should have.
See, I don't know. So I'll share this. I had originally purchased, the first can I got was a 9mm Gymtech multi-mount, which I know that was like 10 years ago. Okay. So bear with me. But the 9mm Gymtech multi-mount, which has served me and is still serving me to this day. And I'm probably close to 10,000 rounds through that. The rifle can that I got is the AAC SDN6, which at the time these cans were the shit. Like they were like, great cans, top tier cans, and high mid tier cans. Sorry. And since we're being specific on this episode, the thing though is that like at that time, NFA items were kind of like held up on a pedestal, and it was like, whoa, like all the cool shit is NFA, all the cool shit is, behind a tax stamp. And I was much more willing at that time to go through the process for NFA items, but I haven't in a really long time. I struggle with that now.
Well, okay, hold on. There's some misconceptions in chat. Number one, with NFA items like suppressors specifically, you do not need permission to leave the state. You don't have to let them know 90 days ahead of time.
Correct.
Suppressors, you could go anywhere with a suppressor. You could move. You don't have to notify them. That's only SBRs and machine guns and things like that. And that's not a 90-day heads up. You tell them, hey, I'm traveling with it, and about 2 weeks later, you'll get an approval, but not suppressors.
But that's provided that the suppressors are legal in the place that you're
Correct.
going.
So you're not going to bring a suppressor to New York, but I could travel to Virginia, South Carolina, wherever I want to go with a suppressor.
Yeah.
I don't have to notify anyone as an individual. Screw me being an SOT. Also, you hear it thrown around a lot. Suppressors are expensive because this, and this. Suppressors aren't that expensive. It sucks that there's a $200 tax stamp. Not constitutional. I'm not going to argue that. That being said, for a decent suppressor, good suppressor, under $1,000 with the tax stamp. I sell a brand of suppressors for the price of your average MOS Glock out the door. Dude Knowledge, you would vouch for these AB suppressors. They are 17.4 stainless H900 heat treated steel. I think the suppressor I sell for $425, $450. $200 tax stamp, you're at $625, $650 out the door on a suppressor. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, that's a good deal. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I was going to get to was that the pistol can I got for like $550 through an employee discount, the 9mm can, maybe a little less than that, but whatever, in that price range. The rifle can, there was like a specific employee program. That rifle can was like $1,080, so $1,080 for that can. I got it for $525. If it was $1,100, I probably wouldn't have put the money out for that at that time. I couldn't afford it at that time. I probably couldn't afford the $525 at that time. But being able to get a rifle can for the price of a Glock MOS, like that's crazy. And to have a like well-built rifle can, that I just think that being able to have the advantage of one, running your gun without ear pro, two, not having as much flash and sound, three, if you're running nods or if dudes on your little team are running nods, it is wise to not throw a massive fireball out of your rifle. There's with sound, with noise, having a reduced sound signature is going to, if you're further away, it's going to be more difficult to identify where you're at. There's just so many benefits to it. I think that even though I disagree, and I think, look, we all disagree with the paperwork. Like it is your natural right to be able to choose any type of equipment for what you want to do for the preservation of innocent life, your own life, whatever. We all believe that, but I do believe that a can is almost mandatory if you're going to have any tactical advantage. Because most Leo, hold up, most law enforcement, there you go. We got audio. Is that your dog snoring?
We're back, bitches.
Oh my God, that's your dog snoring?
Can you hear that?
It is so loud. I think the gain is turned up on your mic.
No, do you what? I've turned back on that here, automatically adjust. There we go. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah,
dude,
I
that was like I thought
driver.
there was like a man sleeping on the floor behind you.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean,
intense.
dude, sorry. Yeah, I just want to get off my phone, but suppressors are a must, man. I'm sorry. If you are
Yeah.
thinking about it, just bite the bullet and do it. Screw whatever your next purchase is. Make it a suppressor if you don't have one. I know I don't want to get tax stamped. The ATF knows about me. They already know about you. If they want to know about you, they'll know about you. The one suppressor you bought, they're not coming door to door. They have 2,500
No.
agents for the entirety of the U.S. Good luck taking all of those out of people's hands.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, most gun guys have 5-6 suppressors. So,
Dude, and how many items are on the NFA registry?
millions.
Yeah.
They don't have enough manpower.
Yeah. And the whole thing about if you get a tax stamp, then they can come search your home at any time. That is absolute dog shit. They cannot do that. People confuse getting an FFL and getting inspections with getting a tax stamp.
Yeah, they
And
cannot
then-
enter your home. They can't
Yeah.
knock on your door and say, I want to see your NFA items. They have no legal bearing to do that.
Well, okay. So what I've been told is that if they were to knock on your door and request you to produce an NFA item, first off, it's likely that someone is doing some fuckery.
Can I see your
If
warrant?
exactly, if you do not produce the item, then they could get a warrant, I heard, but I don't know if that's
You could get a
really
warrant for
true.
anything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a matter of can they get a judge to sign it?
Yeah.
It could be a bullshit warrant that's going to get tossed out in later court, but if a judge signs it, it's valid.
I'll tell you what, I got a hefty stamp collection, and I got a bunch of SBRs, cans, SBSs, AOWs, and I have been quite vocal about my feeling of the gay TF, and I have never been contacted, visited. I've moved several times. I go from state to state, state to state. With like I go to Maryland with my suppressor on my rifle, and I run training events all the time.
We showed suppressors on live.
Yeah, you can show a can. Yeah,
Here's something AB did that's awesome. This thing looks huge. It's titanium. This is a reflex mount. I didn't know these things existed. I thought they were in video games. The
Mhm.
barrel goes inside here, actually screws into the can about right up here.
So it covers the barrel.
It covers the barrel. So the barrel's under here, but what this provides is space for the gases to expand. So you're only adding this much length to your barrel. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 stack titanium can. There's 10 baffles in here. This is their AB F4 Phantom, I think, or F4 Raptor, whatever it is.
That is perfect for a bolt gun.
Can was like just at $1,000 for a bolt gun. This is an insane can.
Yeah.
They also have, and I have it there, their A10, which is their stainless can. It's a 10-ounce 5.56 can. That's nothing.
Damn, dude. Compared to
Let me
this
grab
bad boy, I got this can right here. I'll take it off. This is the AAC SDN6. I laugh at those who think they can hide in an open air prison. Yeah. There is no hiding. If they want you, they want you. You may as well get the equipment that you want and need. Look, this is how I look at it. Having a can, right? Having this tool, me having possession, lawful possession, because fear of incarceration is real, right? Me having, I guess I should cover the serial number. Me having lawful possession of this can gives me the equipment. Okay, I now have the advantage, right? Well, they have the equipment thing. I don't give a fuck. It gives it to me. I have it. So if I ever was of the belief that I needed to use this for freedom and liberty and independence and blah blah blah, I now have that choice, right? I would rather fill out the paperwork and be one out of several million on a list that I'm likely already on another list or two or three or five or 12, because it gives me the equipment in my hands. Is it worth it? Maybe, maybe not. That's up to you, right? But in my opinion, me getting the equipment in my hands and being able to do whatever the fuck I want with it is more important than a list, being worried about being on a list that I'm likely already on anyway.
Yeah. I mean, this guy right here, this is 10 ounces. This weighs nothing. It's a tiny
Yeah.
can. It adds next to no length to your rifle. This is like $425 plus the
Yeah.
stamp.
By the
625.
way, this is probably 3 times heavier than that.
Yeah.
I think
10
this
ounces.
is like can you check what the AAC SDN6 suppressor weighs? I think it's like almost 30 ounces.
You said which one? The AAC?
SDN6.
There's no way that weighs 19.85 ounces.
Okay, so twice
Literally
as much.
double the weight of this almost.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, is that a 5.56 can or a 30 cal?
This is 5.56. They also sell it 30 cal. The 30 cal variant's like $25 more.
Dude, I may pick one up. Can you use like, oh shucks? Can you use like Surefire mounts with it and shit?
Yes. So this is just for those that don't know, the industry has switched to a standard thread pattern. So all of your mounts will fit this can. They call it Bravo mounts or hub. It's 1.375 by 24. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Right.
Surefire mounts. And it'll also work with, I don't know if you saw BSD Machine or BSD Fabrication. He has his new Surefire Bravo mounts. He makes his own mount compatible with Surefire muzzle devices now.
Hell yeah.
So
Big Easy,
yeah,
what's up, bro? He says my Sandman K and S are lightweight and under $1,000. Hell yeah. What do you think about the Q Erector?
I'm fully Q erect right now.
All this talk
Same
about
thing I think
cans.
about the rest of Q's products.
Yeah. I
Okay.
was so blown away when
The
I
only
saw that.
Q product I'm like cool with is the Trash Panda. It's
Yeah.
cool. But also, if you use any muzzle device besides their own, voids their warranty.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, get fucked.
See, I remember when like the industry started going in that direction, which I had already purchased and owned cans for a long time, and I was like, fuck, like why couldn't they do this when I was, getting into the industry? And now, or getting into suppressors. And now, so the AAC STN6 suppressor mount, which is a ratcheting QD system, it goes like yank, 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 and it has like basically think of like metal zip ties, right? Like it's got that little lever that you press the lever and then you unscrew it, right? Or you just, depress it and crank it down and, it makes a little yank, yank sound, right? But the little piece, the little steel piece on the can is starting to wear down. So it may back out a couple, like if I were to dump a magazine out of my gun, that gun right there, binary, it'll back out like 2 steps. And I know that's not good. Now, of course, after that, I just tighten it up with a glove or whatever, and I'm good. But I should get a new can because I don't even think AAC would warranty
Go on,
that
I'll
shit.
grab you one. Also, I'm assuming Black Diamond Guns and Gear. You said just bought my first 3. Yeah, I'm an SOT too. I do the same thing. I brag about it online.
Oh no,
There's a little wait. There's like a 1 week or 2 week wait while you wait for your Form 3, but it's nice. It's dangerous being an SOT because I could buy these to test them, blow them up, and it's like it's nothing.
yeah, they're not an SOT. He's just a dude.
How do you just buy 3 suppressors with no weight?
He's saying now waiting for them to be out of jail. I think
Oh,
he just missed.
my bad. I was like, yeah, I do the same thing too. I'll go. Someone posted on a Facebook page. What are your all's wait times on cans right now? I was like, I don't know, 2 weeks.
Damn.
You know,
Yeah, as an SOT.
too many choices. You're not supporting the NFA. Go get yourself a suppressor. You're missing out. It's a force multiplier, signature reduction. It does everything.
Yeah, there's too many benefits.
Here, someone asked about the silencer code. Yes, they literally, you could send them an email and tell them, hey, I'm a dealer, stop sending me these. They're going to send you a pallet of them for sending them that email.
What are they?
The silencer code, like oven mitt for touching hot suppressors.
Oh, really? Damn, I should get one of those.
All these suppressors belong to Big Mac Defense, which Jonah is the sole party.
Bingo. You see, yeah, typo.
But yeah,
hey, dude, knowledge. Stop talking like a millennial. All right, stop capping. We know you're an old man.
Is that bussing?
Oh, that's great.
But yeah, just go get a suppressor, all of you.
I'll get one if you help me in the NFA. Well, you know what helps you?
I would gladly do that. I will do whatever legal stuff, of course. I'll march on Washington and legally protest.
Yeah. I could think of a few ways we get in the NFA, but a great way to end the NFA would be all of us having the gear, the equipment, and the mindset that we need to be able to, fight against stuff and things.
Saying it's also harder to regulate something when it becomes commonplace. If millions of people own these and someone goes after the NFA, it's easier to make a commonplace argument when millions of people have them.
I think you mean common use, but
common use. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically the same thing. I'm just giving you.
Also, you can form one and build your own suppressors. Do a little bit of research into cups and parts. It's not that hard.
See,
it's still a dicey game, but
I was literally about to form one, a can and a grenade. But we need to tell your paintball story.
I feel like we could tell that at some point. I'm an SOT now, but yeah. Like that.
Yeah. I probably should have talked to you about that first. So I was gonna form one a can and I was gonna form one a grenade because I just wanted to form one a destructive device just because it's funny. Right?
Yeah, I didn't have luck with that. They sent 2 agents to my house.
Yeah.
They didn't like that. Don't form one a grenade.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably still going to.
The problem is they denied me because they said you don't have an explosives permit, but I'm like,
but you don't need
an explosive. This is the shell of an explosive, and it can contain a minimum amount of explosive material. But
yeah, so that's the issue there. They don't. If you went and you got an FEL, right, and you got your federal explosives license, and then you went and registered a destructive device, like that'd be weird. You basically have to be an SOT and have your FEL to do anything like with fun stuff.
Not
like
legally.
that.
I could have pushed back on the issue, and technically I could reapply, and I'd like to. But now that I have the SOT, I don't want to push buttons.
Well, let's also be honest. It wasn't a grenade.
See, so I did it, and then we switched administrations a couple months after, and that just didn't go well.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to it, I was about to form one a literal piece, like an aluminum, like a solid aluminum tube, and I was just gonna have it machined to a monocore, baffle stack, and then just literally press fit a hammer aluminum around it and make a 22 can, like thread.
You could just shove some freeze plugs or some steel wool in there.
Yeah, you could do that too. I had a pretty solid design set up, and it was right around the time that they started going to people's houses after they submitted their Form 1s, and they were asking what components they had prepared for, like, for their Form 1, because they were saying you had to send pictures and all this shit, and then they were taking the items, saying that any part of a suppressor is as because it was when, like, JK Armament was sending out, like, full kits that you just had to, like, drill the end cap and shit,
I remember that.
which actually was genius. But you know, it totally pushed me away from the idea of Form Oneing this 22 can. And I mean, the only thing I could send a picture of is a piece of bar stock aluminum
Which
that,
people did.
yeah, I mean, I think that I would be okay there, but they're still kicking back on Form 1 cans, and they're basically
They
saying
they've slowed
anything.
down with it because they destroyed all the Form 1 companies.
Yeah. So do you
Um,
think I'd be okay if I tried to form one? I just want a 22 can,
yeah.
because
I
I
mean, if
would
you
be
just have
like,
a tube, it's a metal tube. You're making it into something. So
I,
yeah,
I'd be like $30 into it, basically.
do it. Doesn't hurt. I mean, it's a stamp. That's it. I mean, the
Yeah.
other thing you could do is if you have access to a lathe, you could easily turn yourself a thread adapter to go from a 1/2 by 28 to a oil filter, and you could form one that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. What my original design was going to be is like a 6-inch aluminum tube that is about, I guess, about an inch in diameter, and then machine it to be like a stack of K baffles, right? So it'd be a baffle stack, monocore, one piece, but I would thread the monocore baffle stack in 1/2 by 28, and then take a like sheet of aluminum and literally like press fit, like hammer it down, because the 22 is nothing. Like, it could be said that somebody out there may have tested at some point a similar baffle stack with duct tape wrapped around it a few times, and it completely worked exactly the same as the 22 can. So, because someone else did that testing and someone else found that out and then shared that information with someone that shared it with someone that shared it with someone else that shared it with me, and then I read it online um, in Minecraft with Swim, someone who isn't me. Anyway, I knew that that would be effective, and it wouldn't blow the aluminum out. It wouldn't, like, there's literally no downside to it. 22 is nothing, but also 22 cans are like
Do you remember? Was
$199.
it Shrimp Gang in the Form 1 game that made the robot penis? That was a
What?
suppressor. That was a 22 can. Was the robot penis?
No, no, I had no
I think
idea.
it was Shrimp Gang. For those that don't know, there was a big Form 1 game for a while, and there was tons of companies that popped up that were making solvent trap kits. And I'm sorry, the ATF said solvent traps are not real. Do you know how many times I've cleaned my gun and I had to dump solvent through it, and I'm like holding it over my sink like shit, I'm just washing all this down the drain. That's not good. To have
Yeah,
something under your barrel that literally catches like all of your what's the bore cleaning solution? Bore
all of
bore
like
scrubber or
your,
whatever.
there's a whole bunch,
That shit's like toxic. It's super toxic. A
and
solvent trap is a real thing. It's a container to catch liquid at the bottom of your barrel.
it
There's a
also
valid use for it.
it also gives you the ability to reuse the solvent that's not all dirty and correct. Because if you were to dump it through, well, whatever, you can reuse some of the solvent too. So I mean, and it traps it, it keeps it clean. I mean, I've never owned one. I've never owned a solvent trap, for all the gay TF officers out there. But I mean, I see that it's a valid thing. What they're trying to say is, if they make the argument that solvent traps aren't real, they're not used, they can only be used for one thing, then all of a sudden every solvent trap is a silencer, and they can enforce their bullshit, rules.
Yeah. Otter Creek Labs is a very good company. They are big in the game. Someone had mentioned they did come out of the Form 1. I think it was Shrimp Gang that turned into Otter Creek. I can't remember who was who. But yeah, Otter Creek is great. Solvent
Okay.
traps are a real thing. I'm sorry. They are 100% real. I mean, here's another solvent you deal with, lead acetate, when you use a dip solution. So if you want to clean a suppressor, you mix 50% hydrogen peroxide with 50% acetone, was it?
I don't know.
It's a solution called the dip. and
You
it will
clean your suppressors?
if you wanted to. It'll eat the lead out of your can. The problem is it turns that lead into lead acetate, which is super toxic. You want to dump that at like a local waste disposal site. But yeah, it's not great to be dumping gun solvents down your drain.
Yeah.
And I think the EPA and the ATF need to figure that out. One needs to go after the other. Yes,
Yeah,
he
both
said
of 'em.
don't do this unless you're super careful. The dip solution on suppressors works great. Use gloves. Do not do it indoors. Make sure not to dump that solution down your drain. Don't touch it. It works great though, as long as you be careful and you dispose of it. It literally dissolves the lead from your suppressor, but it leaves the titanium and the steel intact. No problem.
And it doesn't tear away the finish or anything at all?
Nope. It literally, it's a chemical process that converts the lead to lead acetate and liquefies the lead.
Damn, that's what's up.
Yeah, I believe it's and the solution itself isn't bad. It's 50-50 mixture of white vinegar and hydrogen peroxide. I'm sorry. It, in and
Bench
of
use.
itself, it's harmless. It's once you combine it with the lead, it turns blue. It's really cool.
Damn. Yeah, I've never cleaned my
No
cans.
aluminum cans. It'll pit your aluminum. Do not do that on aluminum.
Definitely don't print a suppressor.
No, that would be
Tee-hee-hee.
horrible.
Well, here's the funny thing. PLA Plus, and a lot of the other materials out there for printing, they don't hold heat like metal does. So you can actually, as long as it is built, if it's lawful, right? We're only talking about stuff that's legal, okay? But for the people out there that are putting thought into this, if one was to 3D print a suppressor lawfully, register it and all that stuff, whatever. If it was strong enough to withstand like a 9mm or something like that, you can literally run 100 rounds through it and then take it off with your hand. Like it does not
Yeah, it's not a
hold
conductor of
heat.
heat.
Yeah, it's crazy. In Minecraft. Yeah, there you go. Suppressors in a crowd aren't silent, but to the target they are. Even if you miss, they will never know where it came from. So
Breaking down what a suppressor is doing, there's two noises coming out of your gun.
Mhm.
You have the boom from your muzzle. You have gases coming out of your gun, rapidly expanding, creating a boom noise. The second noise is you're going to have your bullet, and if it's breaking the sound barrier and going ultrasonic, you get a crack. This will get rid of the boom if it's an effective suppressor. You're taking those expanding gases that are creating the boom and letting them expand in a controlled environment where they're trapped, and they deplete the oxygen, and you get rid of the boom. You're still going to hear that crack. A 5.56, because it's supersonic, someone whizzes a suppressed 5.56 by your head. You might not hear the boom, but you hear the crack. So yes, in the sense that you don't know where that crack came from. It's a 360-degree noise when that bullet breaks the sound barrier by you. This is deadening that boom from the gun.
Yeah. Now, if you're running a 9mm with like standard pressure 147 grain or something like that, then it is subsonic, and the loudest noise is the action of the firearm.
You'll still hear, if you've ever heard like a subsonic bullet whiz by, you still hear it, but it's much quieter.
Yeah. And you do still hear, think of like the sound of compressed air or a BB gun or something like that. It's probably most reminiscent of a I don't know, probably not even as loud as a CO2 pellet gun, right? But you hear,
It's almost like a weird whistle when a subsonic bullet goes by.
yeah, I mean, it definitely whistles. If it's under 1080 FPS, really like 1050 FPS to be safe, because different barrel lengths and stuff like that. Most barrel twists in 9mm are 1 to 10 anyway. But it is the quietest you can get with a subsonic pistol cartridge. Running a 5.56, if you had to grab your 5.56 in the middle of the night and you were going and you're clearing your house because there's someone that invaded your home, right? And you have a family, right? You have a wife and a daughter or whatever. Could you imagine dumping 5 to 7, 10 rounds out of your AR without the
Your ears would
suppressor?
be ringing. You wouldn't be able to hear anything.
Yeah. You
Especially
wouldn't even
indoors, I'd
hear
be
your
surprised if your
gunshots.
ears, you'd rupture your eardrums. You'd be bleeding from your ears.
Inside, it is insanity, okay? Even if you used, like, subsonic 9 mil rounds inside the house without a can, you're still,
It's
you
loud.
know yeah, you're still very loud. If you ever heard a gun go off in a very, very small area, like a car, bro, you don't even hear the shot. Your ears
People
just go, "Ee," right away
people never think about that. People buy guns and like it's home defense. You don't realize what happens when you shoot that gun in your home.
in a confined area,
In a
yeah.
confined space where it echoes and you have sound waves just pounding your eardrums.
Your smoke alarms start going off,
Here, stop that. I shot this indoors. We were at an indoor range the other day. So think of a small concrete space where all of the sound reverberates. A supersonic bullet using this can, I was just about at hearing safe levels. It was still loud, but it was at a point where if you told me how to shoot like that for an hour, let's do it. Comfortable.
yeah.
This
Yeah.
helps.
I'm comfortable shooting 5.56 through my 308 can, not an issue all day. And I would be much more likely to grab that gun, to be equipped with a, rifle cartridge to, clear my house or something like that, knowing that if I have to, let a few rounds off, that I'm not going to be terrifying the ever loving shit out of my family. And also, oh man, I just realized I didn't change this. Like terrifying the shit out of my family. And like if my daughter's here and I went to go, let off some rounds or something, you know what I mean? Like it's just all there is no benefit to, running a loud gun in a small confined space. But also, if you're running like subsonics through like a subsonic 300 blackout with a can, like bro, you there's so many
Well,
things that
you
happen.
never understood how loud the impact of a bullet is until you shot a 300 blackout at steel or at like
Yeah,
the ground. First of all, subsonic round suppressed at steel is deafeningly loud. Just the ring of the steel
yeah.
is insane. But also when you shoot like a berm, you just hear the bullet going
Thunk.
thump, thump into the ground.
Yeah,
You're like, yo, what is that? I've never
yeah.
heard that sound.
But imagine being in your house, right? And you're coming down the steps and you're clearing your house with your AR and there's a bad guy. He's got a gun and he says, "Don't move, mom." And he starts to raise up his gun and you with your 5.56 put 5 to 7 rounds, sternum, center mass, right? During that second and a half encounter, your hearing is going to go right away, right? You're in a terribly violent and crazy situation. You don't know what's going on. Your freaking fire alarms, your smoke alarms are going off. Your family's waking up,
Not
not
to
knowing what's
mention
going on. You got
you've got
somebody,
auditory and visual disorientation because you
yeah,
have the bang and you have the flash in the middle of the
yeah,
night. Both of those things are going to disorient you.
smoke everywhere. A dude bleeding out on your living room floor, and your kids waking up, and everyone's screaming, and your neighbors coming. Like it, dude, it's like absolute chaos, right? And I've shared this before. When I was growing up, there was a kid that was shot in a party, and that one gunshot in a basement of a dozen kids, and he died. He bled out. He literally took one like almost like right to the sternum area, and he fell, bled out, and died right there. And that sound, when you're not expecting it, and also watching somebody bleed to death, that'll fuck you up for the rest of your life. But like that level of chaos and people that don't know anything about first aid trying to fix somebody that is dying, like, dude, it's the most brutal thing you could ever imagine. Now, if it's a bad guy, like, fuck it. But I would like to think that I'm still the guy that may actually, if it's safe, if they are completely neutralized, I may actually try to, do first aid on the shitbag that came in my house or tried to kill me or whatever, because maybe they'll learn a lesson from getting a second chance at life. I don't know. But it depends. I'm not going to put my life or the life of my loved ones over, you know, saving some shitbag that tried to kill me or, you know, do something terrible to me or my family.
John Doe said, can 5.56 can suppress 300 blackout? And someone responded one time.
Hold on, what did I miss that?
Can you suppress 300 blackout with the 5.56 can? No, is the answer. Because you're
Yeah.
reliant on the diameter of the suppressor matches the bullet. So, for example, this is a 5.56 can. It's a 22 cal diameter. 300 blackouts, 30 cal.
Yeah.
You're going to hit the baffles inside here.
It
Now,
will blow
you
up.
can use a 30 cal can. A 30 cal can will work with 5.56 because the bullet's a little smaller. You have more gas passing through. It might be slightly louder, but then you can do
Bing.
multiple. Yep.
This is a 30 cal can on a 5.56.
Also, someone earlier called the Dead Air Sandman a light can. I don't know what world you're living in, but that's a heavy can.
What? How much? Well, the
Dead Air
Sandman,
Sandman's like 18 or 19 ounces, a similar weight to yours.
the Sandman K. The K is the short.
Yes, they're still heavy though.
So the myth, your ears somewhat protect yourself in a high stress emergency situation is not true at all. Don't know, but wonder. In a way,
They're gonna ring because you've just exposed them to such a loud noise. They can't process more noise. You're also blowing out your eardrum. So you could rupture your eardrum, which with
yeah,
an AR indoors is 100% possible. And when you rupture your eardrum, you're just going to hear like fuzzy nothingness.
yeah. It depends on a lot. It depends on what caliber, what firearm, how close, you know, the proximity. There's so many things that it depends on. Like, you know, that 9mm round when I was younger, and you know, the kid, I don't want to name him or anything, they got shot. That was a deafening sound, but I was also further away from it, and you could still hear. First, everyone freezes, pauses, and kind of like ducks, and like they don't know what's going on, right? They don't know if a speaker just blew, they don't know if like whatever. But if you're talking about an AR in a confined space, your ears may that may
They
be
may
a may
bleed,
not
like you're
be.
rupturing your eardrum.
Yeah, if you're in super close proximity in a close confined space, you're doing permanent damage to it. But if you can still hear some things, like if people are screaming and shit, but the amount of chaos that happens at that point, you're not thinking clearly. You're not. You guys may be able to, like, the way that you think, you may be able, like, okay, I have to operate with limited to no hearing right now, and I have to basically use, you know, every other sense that I have to figure out what's going on. I smell gunpowder. I don't have hearing. Everyone's screaming. Clearly, you know something happened, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think your ears, like, you know, go into like fight or flight mode and protect you or anything like that.
No, your ears go into holy shit, what the fuck just happened mode.
Yeah, I mean, every single time that I've been in a confined space and a gun went off, either on purpose or not, you literally don't even hear it. It's just right away.
Yep.
You don't. There's no like, and then afterwards you may go back and reflect, and like you may remember the boom or whatever. But it is such like, I mean, it is a split second. I had when I was very young, I had an ND of a 20-inch 5.56 with a 62 grain green tip in my bedroom. So this is before I moved out, when I lived in
You
my
shot your
parents' house.
ceiling, didn't you?
No, way worse. I
The
shot
fish tank.
eye level across rooms with the 5.56.
Oh.
Yeah, and even though so I call it a negligent discharge because it was my negligence that led to the firearm going off. So basically, what had happened was I had built a 20-inch AR that I mean, I wouldn't say I built it. I assembled it, right? I bought a 20-inch upper, put on, you know, the handguard and all. This was like Delta Ring days, okay? And put on a 20-inch upper to a spikes lower that I put together, and that was the first gun that I like assembled by myself. No, I think I did a 6.8 SPC. Well, that was after. But either way, I put together a 20-inch 5.56, and I'm at my parents' house. I'm like literally like fresh 18, maybe whatever, maybe almost 19, but it was right before I moved out. And my parents didn't even know that I had, didn't know that I had guns in the house. They were like, if you're going to get guns, whatever, but you're not going to keep them in our house. That's how anti-gun they were. Now my dad's got a bunch of ARs and Glocks and shit like that. But I had this weird thing where the spikes lower, that's when spikes was super cool. The spikes lower, the PMags were getting stuck. And like I had to like force them in like crazy, right? And I had to like beat them in. No mag was going in. Like out of all the PMags that I had, none of them were going in. So I end up like leaning on my bed, and I was like basically like trying to slam the magazine in there, and I was like, well, maybe I should lock the bolt back, right? Because it's easier to put a magazine in when the bolt's back. So I locked the bolt back. Now it is pointed, it's basically at my like, as if I was shouldering it. It's at that like length, so not eyeball length, but like chest height. And I locked the bolt back, and I'm trying to slam the magazine in there to get it to seat, but it would not seat, right? So my finger is in the trigger guard. It's not on the trigger per se, but it's in the trigger guard, which was stupid. That was my mistake. And I should have stopped and looked at it and been like, okay, what is keeping the magazine from going in it? But I didn't. I was too young and you know, whatever, stupid at that time. So the bolt is locked back, right? Now, of course, with your bolt locked back, it enough force will give enough inertia to pop the bolt back for 1 split second, which drops your bolt release and will send your bolt forward. So as I'm beating this magazine in, right, this is like 15 years ago, but as I'm beating this magazine in with my finger in the trigger guard, I hit it hard as shit, and it went in, it seated, and it was just enough inertia to send the bolt forward, put a round in the chamber, and it bounced, and my finger was in the trigger guard, and boom, did not even hear the blast, and just immediately
It's almost like you feel it, but you hear the ringing. I did this once with a shotgun.
I felt it in my chest, in my
Uh-huh.
teeth, in my sinuses. Like that feeling, it's like you got punched by the Hulk. Like it is, and it was not a big room. Okay, now this is a 62 grain green tip LAP, right?
It's made for penetration, by the way.
Yes, designed to penetrate light armor. The M855 green tip, whatever you want to call it. And luckily I hit a cable box. It was like a Verizon kind of style cable box, which was all aluminum. So it hit that, fucking chewed that up, no problem. Went through, exited that, but it exited in 3 pieces: 2 pieces of the jacket and the steel penetrator. So went through the front of the cable box, tore through it, exited through the back, and then went into the wall. Exited that wall, went into the bathroom, went through a like a picture thing on the wall, went through that wall, went out the next wall, went into a the next room, went through a desk, and then
Landed at the
basically
Great Wall of China.
no,
It went into orbit.
it
Still there.
hit a bunk bed that was like old German like oak, right? And it bounced. The dent is still there. It
Thank
bounced
God for
off
the
the
German.
bed, and it fell on the ground. And but the only thing I could find was the steel core from there. Dude, I never treated a firearm the same after that moment. I have tried, like, safety wise, I try to do every single possible thing that I can to be a deliberate action with a firearm. I, do my best to keep my finger off the trigger. I just do my best to follow every single rule of firearm safety because, look, my nephews could have been sleeping in that room, right? As a matter of fact, they were supposed to, but they ended up having to reschedule for whatever reason. The other thing, my parents were downstairs. What do you think they thought when they're just sitting downstairs watching a movie and they hear
And then the cable goes out.
they they literally were like, he must have just, eaten his rifle, right? Like they probably thought that I smoked myself, So it's I've made mistakes in the past with firearms. This is granted a very, very long time ago, but we need to take these kinds of things seriously because I know a lot of people come in here and they're talking about, no, this was not recent. This is like 15 years ago. Um, I I vowed to do every single possible thing that I could to prevent any accidental or negligent discharge with firearms. There almost are no accidental discharges. There are negligent discharges and mechanical failures. I don't think there are.
I would say a mechanical failure is an accidental discharge.
Yeah, maybe.
It was an accident. You didn't mean to do it. The gun just kind of did it. I guess it's another splitting hairs, I guess.
Well, yeah, because I think people use accidental discharge as like an excuse, right? Oh, it was an accidental discharge. It was an AD. And they're like, well, I shot it into the ground.
Wait, hold on. Red Dawn said something. He said the biggest issue with what happened was that you had the safety off. Not true. You cannot put an AR into safe until you've charged it and the hammer is back. So in theory, his gun would have been on fire because
My hammer was
the
down.
hammer was forward. When he pulled the hammer back, locked it back, slammed the mag in, put a round in, he didn't have the time to get it on safe.
Yeah. And I actually don't know if your hammer is down on the bolt, you obviously can't throw it into safe, right? Which I think is stupid.
Yeah, it's
like,
not like the Europeans do it differently. Like on the B&T, you can.
Yeah. So my AR right here, I can throw it on safe no matter what condition it's in, but that's because I got the Fostech Echo trigger in there.
Gotcha.
So I can always flip it to all three, whatever. But I don't even know, now that I'm thinking of it, I don't know if you can, with the hammer down on the bolt, right? You can't flip it on safe, right? But if you lock the bolt back, could you then flip it on safe? Hold on, let me check. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. Plot twist, it was yesterday.
Okay, with the bolt pulled back, the bolt carrier back over the hammer, you can in fact put it on safe. Yes.
Okay, with the bolt held back, you can in fact
Yes,
put it in safe. I know. I heard you say it, so I had to say the same thing. All right, let me put this back.
But so yes, in theory, when you lock the bolt back, you could have put it on safe.
Should have.
But Red Dawn, yeah, you can't put the gun. Assuming he had just pulled the bolt back, slapped the mag in, it went forward. Yeah, I guess you could have pulled the bolt back and put it on safe. But generally, the order of operations when making ready is you pull the bolt back, put your mag in, drop the bolt or whatever, chamber the round, then on safe.
Yeah. Well, some people even double check that it is indeed in the chamber, pull out the magazine, visual check, right? Put your finger banger in there, By the way, why do I not have my primary arms order in there?
To answer Chris Bullis, he asked how much these cans were. They're like $4.25. So plus your stamp. So you're like $6.25 out the door on a suppressor.
How much is your DLD price on those? I'm just kidding.
DLD price it's cheaper. I think you're gonna like the DLD price on one of these when you hit me up after the show.
I was talking about my price because I'm actually thinking of getting one.
Dude, 7.62, they're nothing.
Yeah. I don't know if true for sure. What do you mean?
Sometimes little true, not big true. Sometimes big true is little true.
Safety doesn't engage with an empty chamber.
If you charge your gun and your hammer's back and you have an empty chamber, your safety will.
Yeah, if the hammer is back, your safety will engage.
Yep.
Period. Chamber empty or not. I think he was joking.
Period. Period.
I don't know if true for sure. Hold on. Who uses safe? Oh man, if you've ever been to a course, a training event, I have never run my safety more than in recent training events. And it
Yes,
is like,
but no. I took an MP5 course with James Williamson, and there was times they're like, "Fuck your safety." You just died because you fucked with your safety. Like
yeah, I think
you're on safe at the beginning before you start the drill, but if
Mhm.
you're like safe off, bang 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 run, he said stop fucking with your safety. Your fingers
So
are
let
safe.
me ask you this. Do you go on safe during mag changes?
No,
Okay, for
absolutely not.
any platform.
No, I've
Okay,
never
so
practiced doing that.
now there are a lot of different like TTPs and SOPs and all that, right? But like a lot of people are safety Nazis and they're like, okay, you start on safe,
You're going to be
right?
doing that in a gunfight?
I don't honestly, I don't feel it's been something I've been thinking about. I don't feel comfortable training that way
No.
because during a gunfight, I don't want to be flipping my safety on.
There's things that you do in a class to prevent this, right? You have your 180. You do not break that 180.
Yeah.
Everyone's behind you. You're shooting here. Safety or not, if you practice that 180, you're not going to hurt anyone. Now, ricochets and stuff, you have to be careful what you're pointed at. Then there's also like if you're running, have your gun tucked up, keep it at low
Mhm.
ready. There's different ways to run with it. I would not practice fighting with a safety. And that's what they pushed in the MP5 course is that we're training you how you would fight with this weapon. Why are you using your safety? Why are you clicking your safety on between moving from this target to this target? Move to the target.
So, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal says safety off, just don't flag. So crazy thing, like I was telling you, and that's why you can never not follow more than one of the core firearm safety rules, okay? Because I've seen literally right in front of my eyes, Chad from Keltec. Sorry to call him out for the second time today, but it's not him. He didn't do anything wrong. There was a mechanical failure which resulted in an accidental discharge. That's probably better. Um, the firing line was set up right at the IV-88 shoot. He took one of the Keltec, not the RFB, the 556 version. I forgot what they're called. RD. What are they? Do you know what those are called?
The what? The
The
RDB?
RDBs, yeah. So he had an RDB with a can on it, and he loaded and made ready, and then on safe, okay, gun pointed out to the backstop, on safe, finger off trigger, and out of nowhere, just fired.
Was it like a hang fire?
No, because it was a cold line. We hadn't even started to fire yet. I think it was some type of mechanical failure, or maybe something happened. There's a failure with this Keltec where
Broken feed ramps.
sometimes when you chamber around, if you take it out, you look and you're like, oh man, there looks like a little dent in the primer there. I think something happened there, and maybe the firing pin was so dirty it was fixed.
Stuck out.
It-
Yeah.
yeah, and it maybe luckily it only let off one round, but that is why you have to envision that there is a lethal laser beam always coming out of your muzzle, and anything that you drag that muzzle across is going to die. You're going to cut them in half. You know, I mean, let's be real. Like I go and shoot with friends, and I've done things where we've flagged each other here and there, and being flagged is just kind of part of the thing from time to time. And whatever. Working at a gun store, I was flagged all the time, and people are like, "Well, it's not loaded." Like, well, it's always loaded.
Yeah.
You know.
You know it's not loaded? Did you check it?
Yeah, dude, I've had dudes literally because I worked at a gun shop, right? I had a dude that I went to school with, and I walked into a shop that I used to work at on one of my off days, and he was carrying in his hand one of those old Smith & Wesson Chief Specials in 45 ACP. It's like a 6+1 or so small 45 ACP. And I was like, oh shit, that's one of the, like, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. And he was like, yeah, take a look. And he hands it to me. And I take it and I rack the slide back to look at it while manually pushing up the slide release. And a big ass 230 grain 45 ACP round flies out the chamber. And I'm like, dude, you just handed me a loaded gun. Thanks for the trust, bud, but you handed me a loaded gun. You didn't tell me that it was hot. Like that, you got to communicate, but also I checked. So this was after the negligent discharge, by the way. Didn't flag anyone, made it safe, and all that. But dude, handing someone else a loaded gun, I saw a video recently where there was this dude that was out in like this apartment complex, and he was kind of a hood dude wearing like literally nothing but gym shorts, and he had a Glock 43. And this like OG came up to him and he was like, yo, what you got? He's like, oh, I got that Glock 43, bro. And he's like, okay, let me see it. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, let me see it. He's like, all right. And he hands it to him, hands him a loaded gun. And then he was, guess what the dude said? No, you're not getting this shit back, bro. He was like, what, man? Hey, give me my gun. He's like, I got your gun now. How are you going to get it back from me? It was just hilarious. Like, you never give anyone your gun, ever. If a buddy wants to see it, you know, unless you got another gun on you, I don't like that shit.
I've even had law enforcement. I've been pulled over many years ago, and I had my gun on me, and they're like, hey, you know, for the safety of the stop, we're going to take it off you. I said, right now, this gun is infinitely safer not being handled on my hip or in my
Yeah.
waistband. I would
Yeah.
prefer you do not touch my firearm. I don't want to touch my firearm.
Yeah.
I've been flagged by cops before.
Dude, I've had cops literally point guns at my head.
I did too.
Totally agree. Red Dawn Ready says DLD After Dark. It's stupid for someone to do that, but you always check when you pick up a gun. Always, always, always. Even if it is a gun that you just set down and walked away and came back, you check your gun before you resume dry firing or before you load and make ready or before anything. You always check a gun. Always, always. I work at my local store. Whenever I'm in there, and the rule is every time you touch something, you check it. Absolutely.
Also, everyone going into a store, for the ease of the employees, when you hand them back the gun that you were looking at, lock the slide back. I always
Yeah.
take that gun from them because they'll give it to me. They'll lock the slide back, check it, slide forward, mag in. I will pop the mag out, play with the gun, do what I want to do. I will lock the slide back, mag and gun on the counter. They can do what they want with it from there.
Yeah. Yep. I do the same thing. They hand it back to you. You check before putting it away. Yep. Absolutely. Big Mac is spitting fire, but he's not going to be spitting fire if he can't turn his safety on an unloaded chamber. They got that firing pin pressure sensor. I'm just kidding. Sorry. But yeah, I don't know. Just real quick before we wrap up, I know we've been doing this for a few hours now, so let's put it like this. There are other things you can purchase too: shotguns, bolt guns, you know, long range guns, AR-10s, M14s, M30s. There's so many other guns that you can get, but the most ubiquitous and prolific is going to be an AR. So get your shit tight, get a can, and then maybe we'll do another one on like soft goods, right? Like gear.
Carriers, gear, yeah.
Yeah. Pen 15s, you know, things like that. But let's go ahead and wrap up. I got to wake up tomorrow, and I got some stuff I got to do. I got to send a new print to the Bamboo tonight, baby. So I'm pumped about that. P1P, Bamboo P1P is where it's at, bro. But anyway, before we wrap up, guys, take a moment, and whether you need something from like an inexpensive lower parts kit, a hand guard, a bolt, a complete gun, and give Jonah a chance to at least meet or beat another price, because he will take the time to literally sit down, have a phone conversation with you, see exactly what you need. And he may even like I've heard him go through phone calls with people like while we're talking, he'll get a Big Mac defense call and somebody will be like, "Oh, I want this." And he's like, "Okay, well, what do you want to use it for? What's your plan? What do you want to do?" Okay. I would recommend like that's a good gun, but I would also recommend looking at this, 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 and this. This could save you money. And it's just like it's not even about money for him. He has saved me more money in his honesty and his help than well, I'll probably end up spending more money. But anyway, the you've saved me more money in just actually having like real conversations with me about like real life usage and shit like that, and it's just super helpful. And a Dracos are super gangster, but you got to put the green beam and the blue beam on that bitch, you know what I'm saying? Have that rainbow laser.
Got that beam.
Got that beam. Put that beam on it.
But yeah, for real, my number is on my website. It's on my Google listing. That's my cell phone number. Call me, text me. I'm absolutely, even if you want to just bullshit and talk shop, that's fun for me. If you have questions
Yeah.
about suppressors, whatever, even if you think it's a stupid question, call me, ask, we'll figure it out. Even if you don't buy something from me, I'll send you somewhere where you can get it cheaper.
Oh yeah. Rumble Vulcan says DLD After Dark. Is there now a Glock smaller than a G28?
G28's not in country, is it?
It is. It is now. There
The
was
42.
always, yeah, there was always a Glock smaller than the G28, the 42.
Yeah.
Always. I got one over here. I actually have a suppressed Glock 42. You ever seen that?
No, because I don't own a 380.
380 suppressed is a fucking blast to shoot. No pun intended.
32 ACP suppressed, and my VZ61 Scorpion is a blast to shoot.
That's dope too. And the speed is about the same. They're a little under 1,000, what, 900 feet per second, something like that. So they're super quiet, and it's just like it's so much fun. The 32, did you thread that barrel? Oh, it was already threaded.
It's threaded.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah,
7.62 by 25 Browning.
there you go. It might, which by the way, really quickly, people may not remember this, but 32 ACP has been like the primary handgun cartridge of the East for like decades, right? It hurts. So don't sneeze at the 32 ACP or
And if you reach out to
7.65
me on the
Browning.
phone, by the way, just tell me your username from chat so I know who you are.
Yeah, so he can cross-reference you with his Fed database.
My glowy list.
Yeah. Crack Scout Survival says it might sound FUD, but the few times I have taken a gun into a local shop for gunsmithing, I just bring it in with a chamber flag. The live one stays concealed in my holster. Absolutely. That's not FUD at all. It's I mean, look, sometimes I'll put in a spent casing into my chamber and just like fuck with my buddies at the gun shop and be like, no, it's not loaded. No, it's not
Sometimes I
loaded.
conceal a live round behind my chamber flag.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just drop like 22 LR ammo in a 9mm with a chamber flag. Sorry, it's not funny. But yes, I think that is the safest way to go about it. And I think that's, totally reasonable because of how often we had a jar, like one of those massive pickle jars like this big.
You
We
took
had a
people's chambered
jar
rounds, didn't you?
with people's chambered rounds that told us it wasn't loaded. When people say it's not loaded, we took it out, dropped it in there. And they're like,
gun
"Woo."
did that to me, but I brought in a gun for them to appraise, and I didn't want to touch it in the car or parking lot. And I handed them the case with the gun in the case. I said, "Hey, this is loaded." He took it out, takes out my chambered Extreme Defender, which was like $2 a round at the time. And he's like, "Hey,
Oh.
we're taking this." I said, "Why? You left
Okay,
it in the chamber." I said, "I told you it was in the chamber. I
that's
didn't want to
different.
touch it in your crowded parking lot. It's infinitely safer you doing this into your bullet trap than me doing
Yeah.
this in the parking lot." And he
Yeah,
still
that's
took
not cool. If they told you that it was loaded, that's not cool. They
No,
shouldn't do
I
that.
told them it was loaded. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If the customer told you it was loaded, then that is not an
Yeah. He
offense.
stole my round. I'm like, that's $2 I'll never get back.
He was probably like, "Ooh,
My inner Jew was
Underwood."
dying, dude.
That's great. But yeah, we'll keep this going. I think it's a great conversation, and maybe next time. I know it's easy. Yes, the G28 is 380 ACP.
Ew.
Draco plus SBR 200 tax plus can. Yes, dude, the Draco's a blast. Bro, I suppressed one of my AKs. I love my AKs. I just don't run them like that anymore. I was an AK guy before I could afford ARs, right? Like back when they were $300, $400. But they're not bad guns. They run. I can run an AK like I would say almost as well as I can run my ARs. But anyway, let's go ahead and wrap up. Make sure you give Jonah some love, and we got to support the companies that support us, right? So Jonah's the man, yes sir. So make sure we support the companies that support us. So support Jonah with Big Mac Defense. Hit him up. You can literally, we're giving access to a dude that owns an FFL that said you can call him with any question, anytime, any product, or just to talk shop, right? So if you're curious about cans, if you're curious about a particular type of gun, I call him all the time and I'm like, yo, have you seen this knife? I don't know. You should look at Cobra Techs and blah blah blah. And then now look, right? Got the Cobra Tech, right? Even though from time to time I do tell him, look, I love Cobra Tech, but tack knives though is also dope. But anyway, you do your thing. I did pick up this bad boy before we close out. So look how ridiculously large this thing is. This blade is crazy wide. It's like a butcher's knife. It's insane. You can't really tell, like,
I just had some brisket. It looks like you cut it with that thing.
yeah, I mean, how wide the blade is crazy. I don't know, maybe oh my god, it's super smooth. Like look, so just to show you guys how smooth this is, I'm literally just with one finger. It's on brass bearings, titanium and carbon fiber, and it's literally under $100. It's the Kaiser Sheepdog XL. And I don't know, maybe I'll do something like a giveaway with one of these because I want to give back
BBS
to you
14
guys.
giveaway first.
Ooh, yes, please give away to me. One day I will get night vision. I'll just have to sell like half of my Glock collection to get there. But we shall see. But show him some love. Hit him up on Instagram. Hit his phone number. Big Mac Defense. Show him some love. Whatever it is, even if you have a question about a firearm, a knife, gear, product, he got me so much of my stuff from like my kit, and he saved me lots of money in the long run. Yeah, let them know where they can find you again.
BigMacDefense.com, Big Mac Defense on Google if you need my info, Big Mac Defense on Facebook, same username on Instagram. Try to keep pretty consistent. So yeah, really anywhere. I'm watching all of it, but phone's the easiest for me. Call or text me.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm old school like that. Now, while we're talking about supporting the companies that support us, I will tell you, actually, let me see if I can pull this up even right now. We want to support Goonbeam. We want to support Gideon Optics. We want to support Tack Knives. But let me just show you guys this. So right now, I just pulled this up. Where is it? Oh, what the hell? I think this is it. All right, let's see if it pops back up. Hang on. Damn it, there was a special. Hang on. As soon as I shared it, the special went away. Basically, it was like get a free, small OTF with a not this one, but get a small sized OTF with a purchase of like $39 or more. Get a folding knife with this purchase. Get a large OTF with this purchase. So if you go to Tack Knives, you can also go to TACCOM, which is their high grade shit now. Man, these are so dope. I got the Barracuda and I got the little Warncliffe guy, and oh, those are cute. Dude, their Barracuda with the Warncliffe is sick. Love that blade. All these are great, and they've just done an excellent job. And they've supported the. That's dope. They've just supported the company, or the company. The company has supported the channel. So use code DARK, you get 20% off, and then you can get super dope blades like this one right here. This is the Nighthawk V2, and this has been rock solid for me. They also have where's the other guy? Well, I got this little guy here. This is one of their little guys. Like the amount of like finishing and like the CNC machining and the finishing they put into these blades. Most of them are 154 cm or D2. They're awesome. So support them, show them some love. Tack knives. They also have the higher tier tack com, and they're super affordable. And also they got the OTF razor blade knives, like the utility knives that use the razor blades, but they're OTF, which are dope. Use code DARK, get 20% off your order, and that supports the channel too. Use the link in the description for tack knives, for Goonbeam, for Gideon. Use code DARK or code GLOWIES for Gideon. But that's it. On that note, oh nice, Bob says, I love my tack knives. Yeah, there's been a bunch of people. Thanks, Rip. Appreciate you, man. The PD wall is looking good. Yeah, I still got to do some changes to it, but yeah, a bunch of people here have purchased tack knives and have had great luck with them. Rich still carries his Barracuda that he got is still his EDC to this day since the moment he got it. So it's cool that he replaced the $30 Kershaw with the OTF tack knives, and you guys will love them. So give them a shot. But you also get other shit, right? You get 20% off by using code DARK, and you also get, looks like now, I don't know if it ended at midnight or what, but the thing was showing that you get free shit when you buy stuff. Anyway, on that note, guys, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. Jonah with Big Mac Defense, I appreciate you coming on, man. Show some love his way, okay, even if it's just on his Instagram. And in closing here, anything else you want to throw in before we sign out here?
I don't think so. Just kit up, stay ready. Make sure you have all your gear set up, ready to go.
Do you carry a rifle in your vehicle?
No comment.
Good move.
It depends. If I know I'm going to be out of my vehicle for extended periods, I generally won't. I do not like leaving guns in my vehicle because you're leaving it there for others.
Yeah, just like that post I posted on Instagram.
Yep.
You hit me up. You're like, yo, was that your car? Did someone break into your car?
I was going to give you so much shit if that was your car.
Oh, dude, if I put come and take it and Gadsden flag stickers all over my back windshield, I was like, yeah, that's definitely my Jeep Liberty or whatever the fuck it is. Big Mac, who would you recommend for an upper in 6 arc?
Noveski makes a really nice 6mm arc upper if you have the money to put out on Noveski.
Dang.
They run around like 17-ish, give or take. I might be able to get them for a better price, but around there.
That's actually not bad for Noveski.
You're getting a great quality upper.
Yeah, dude, that's literally what I called it, a loot drop. That's so funny.
Please keep tasteful stickers on your car. That's what I'll add for tonight.
Yeah,
Don't advertise what you do. Don't try not to wear gun shirts out and all this stuff. You're advertising yourself.
Dude, yes, I would absolutely take any jigs. And we're doing a mailroom thing. A few people have said they're sending some things. If you here, I'll put this down right here. So this is my PO box. Okay, if anyone sends I get a PO box right next to Crumb's house.
I'll post his real address in the chat where you can send. No,
yeah, he has it actually. He has it. But we're gonna do a mailroom thing. So anyone that sends anything, even if it's like a funny letter, feet pics, whatever, anything at all, I'm gonna do a mailroom episode where we literally go through. By the way, I don't know if everyone was here. We have Clint with Classic Firearms coming back on, so that's gonna be a blast. We got some other guests coming up in the future too. But if you wanted to send the jigs, if you sent anything else, like I'm going to read any letter that comes to me. I'll show any feet pics. Just don't be like sending like GPSs and tiles, and don't be sending like dick pics and stuff like that.
Sending a machine gun.
Yeah, I wouldn't send any auto sears or anything like that. Everything is going to be opened up at the PO box. Like literally, I will open everything there. Anything else
He
that's
makes his
heavy,
children open the packages. He stays outside in the car.
yeah, I'm like, hey, I'll give you $5 to open this. Dude, there was a time where I opened up something in a hole that I had to dig with an armor plate over it because I didn't know what was in it. But yes, for people that don't want to murder me, anyone that sends anything in, it'll be read on, on the mailroom thing. I just love the idea of doing a mailroom thing. I think it's hilarious and funny. No shart jars or jart jars as well. But yeah, anyway, this is the address you can send stuff to. It'll probably be in a couple weeks. And yeah, anyway, I appreciate all you guys so much. And of course, any P80 jigs, if y'all have P80 jigs and they're not destroyed, absolutely. Like I would love those. But again, I'm not gonna, that would support the channel. I'll put it that way. But in closing, guys, remember the most important things. As you go on and you equip yourself with tools and training and all that, that's super important, right? But also remember, no glitter bombs. I actually got, well, that's another story for another day. I thought it was a glitter bomb, but it was powdered magnesium that I had ordered for different reasons. Anyway, yeah, that's another story. So God, if you guys only knew. Okay, so the rules that you set for yourself, okay? Get your mind right, okay? Get right with God. We are in tumultuous times, and the best thing that you can do is get right with your family, get right with God, and just, pray for yourself, your family, the country. Pray for Corn Pop's dad, pray for the people that are going through, challenges right now. It's a tough time, man. So if y'all need anything, reach out to me personally. But in the end, the only thing that you have are the standards and expectations that you set for yourself as a man and as an individual. And for those, mine are rule number 1, be kind. It's so important that we're kind in everything that we do. That brief interaction that you have with somebody else could have a massive impact on their life. So just be kind. Rule number 2 is to live a life of care, compassion, contribution, give to others. When you bless others, you become blessed, because a hand that's open to give is open to receive. Rule number 3, because we know the only way for us to defeat evil is with good men skilled in violence. Make sure that you're becoming as highly skilled in violence as you possibly can be, and be safe, be dangerous, and keep that thing on you. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
Devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress, call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang bang, got my hand, bang got my hand, call